More green jackets have been lost at the 12th than at the Augusta City Dry Cleaners. Rory McIlroy knows this better than most. But what is Amen Corner and why is it so iconic? The famous sequence has always been there since the Masters began in 1934. It didn't get its name until '58 though, when American sports writer Herbert Warren Wind, on the left, wrote, "At the farthest reach of the Augusta National Course, down in the Amen Corner." He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it! Oh! Oh! Oh!
No, we don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody, and welcome once again to what would be normally Hawksby and Jacobs, but of course those two are far too lazy to do shows, too important to do shows in the gap between Christmas and New Year. We know that Andy's at Centre Parks. Yesterday reported from a hammock wearing only a lilac posing pouch, extraordinary. But instead you have to enjoy, and some would say endure, myself, Danny Kelly, and Charlie Baker, very much a regular on this show as well. It's my last talkSPORT show, maybe of all time, that's up to the management, but actually of this year.
Never, Danny, never.
And I can't imagine a more fun person to be doing it with than Charlie Baker. Now, I should warn you before we start the show, we've got loads of proper content. It was an amazing night last night in the Championship when the top 4 played each other. There were goals. Goals scored in the 96th minute to save a point. Only it didn't, and much else besides. Jeff Peters will join us to talk about that. Of course, there's a gigantic game tonight in the Premier League where Arsenal take on Aston Villa, first play third form teams in the league. We'll be previewing that from both an Arsenal and Aston Villa point of view. We'll look at all the other Premier League games that are coming up. Much else besides. It's going to be a proper show.
Real proper show.
Let me start by saying welcome one, welcome all to Baker and Kelly, Kelly and Baker, with me, Danny Kelly, him, Charlie Baker. You're all very welcome aboard.
So welcome, Danny. If I didn't know Andy Jacobs was doing so well, if he can afford a week at Centre Parks during the school holidays, then goodness me.
And I think because it is a school holidays, and a lot of kids there, Andy's got he's also paid for some kind of private exclusion zone.
Goodness me.
It's really, really good. Yeah,
I like that very much.
Yeah.
Now in the pre-show meeting, Danny, which there is one, which some people often seem surprised by. Our producer Andrew Jolly said, "What are you going to talk about in the first section?" Yeah. And I said soup, and he looked dismayed. And you looked overjoyed.
Thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. There's nothing... Look, first of all, this can work one of two ways. It will be a brilliant comedic riff on the idea of soup as a meal, or all the listeners will leave and we can just do the show for our own benefit.
Do the show that we actually want to do. Now,
why did you bring up soup? And I do have a soup-related comeback. Yeah,
good news. Well, it was we were in Devon for a couple of days, last couple of days, and it was a noisy journey home, and we couldn't quite work by noisy, Danny. I'm going to keep it. It's lunchtime for people, so you know. Yes. But it was all of us as well. It wasn't just one of us. One of us wasn't sort of gluten intolerant and shouldn't have had that bread. You know, it was all of us. And then we worked out what we'd had for lunch. Now I judge people who offer just soup for lunch. If you say lunch, I want something more than soup. That's what I want.
Something more substantial.
Exactly. Yes. The only acceptable soup is Heinz tomato soup. That is absolutely acceptable.
The only acceptable soup is a lamb chop. Yeah.
It's not the war, Danny, is it?
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's not. We're not rationing. I'm not using gravy browning as tights.
Let's go through the facts here, and you can help me with this. Incidentally, we'll talk about let's go through the facts. We'll be doing Charlie's list of best TV spies and policemen and policewomen a little later. I cannot wait. As I texted you when you sent me the list, I had to wipe saliva away from my face. I was so excited. And we need a 6-hour show, possibly on a more expensive channel than this, to do our favourite TV.
So. Yeah, I think so.
So first question.
Yes.
Did you only get soup for your lunch?
Well, I knew we were going to... It was a quick lunch because we had to get on the road, you know. That's what we had. So it was understandable that it was just soup. There was some bread as well, but, you know. The soup was turkey soup. It was turkey soup. Around Christmas, Danny. It was turkey soup with pearl barley and some veg in it, but also made with bone broth. Which... Well,
it's like you talk about the pre-show meeting, which is actually a shambles. We can never find each other on the Zooms.
No, exactly.
But you're walking straight into my left hook here. Look, and maybe I'll finish the question and we'll come back to bone-made soup. Was it any good?
Oh, it was great. It was really, really nice. But what last night, even my 10-year-old daughter, some noises were coming out that were rattling the sofa as we were watching.
Not acceptable.
As we were watching Pointless Celebrities.
Yeah.
And we were like, it's the bones. It's because we've been eating bones all afternoon. We're not supposed to eat bones.
Well, we'll come on to, and we're going to get some texts in on this. Yes, we are. But pay attention, everyone. So, look, we bought... we had a lot of people over the 3 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
But we bought too much food, and that's fine. Sure. That's okay. You've got to be generous.
That's how it goes, isn't it? Yeah.
So, after I finished H&J yesterday, I went for what can only be described as a brief nap. And but this is the time when the lady wife, Alex, bless her, who's a fantastic cook, starts cooking up something for the tea or the dinner.
Oh, lovely. Very nice.
Now, I knew that in the fridge there was a slab of fillet beef that hadn't been used over Christmas.
That sounds nice.
And B, even more spectacularly, a very large smoked ham that somehow hadn't been developed. So I thought to myself, as I went to bed, I thought, one of those two is going to get served up to a lucky old geezer when I get up. And then I'm lying in the bed for a couple of hours, and the smell of the cooking comes up through the kitchen. Something great is going on there. I come downstairs to discover, because she is a waste not, want not merchant, the opposite to me. she has taken the bones from from the rib of beef that we had Christmas Day. She has saved them and has boiled them up and made French onion soup. So now my dinner, which I had hoped to be a Henry VIII style feast, is actually a bowl of soup. Now, first of all, the soup was delicious.
Yes, sure.
And accompanied by those croutons with cheese on and all the rest of it.
Very nice.
You don't get to be the superbly upholstered shape I am by eating just soup, I promise you. But I must admit, the question did occur to me when she's listening. And I'm asking you this, everybody, can soup ever really be a meal?
No.
81089. Can soup
is not
ever
lunch.
be
Soup is not dinner. It is a starter at best, Danny.
a starter? There you have it. It's a starter.
We're not in the trenches.
No.
Like boiling up a rat.
Listen. Listen, so the other text, and I need this because, she also, bless her, Alex, when she's got a load of vegetables left over, broccoli and cauliflower, stuff that I keep at a very, very distant length, she just blitzes them all and makes that into a soup. Would you like this? No, I would not like that, thank you.
See that big bit of rib of beef in there? I'd like
I'm
that.
having that, yeah. So what is, this is the question, what is the best soup dish you've ever had and where?
Yeah.
And the worst? What has somebody concocted and said, here's the soup? Because sometimes it's salmon and chocolate, isn't it? We want to know what the worst soup you've ever had
I will say what a good soup is. I know we've got a break. What good soup is. You ever used to go swimming as a kid? And when it was about 12p when I was growing up, out of the 12p vending machine, the soup from the vending machine after swimming was soup, like really good. But that's because you were basically drinking salt.
Yeah, lovely salty water. Listen, 81089. Can soup ever be a meal? Your worst experiences with soup, and if you want the best experience with soup. And just to show you that these flavours thing, it is real, as Dark Kids say. It's midwinter. I've had the usual midwinter cold, so my lips are a bit dry and chapped. So I've been given a very, very posh lip salve, a lip balm, I suppose you'd call it. I mean, to me, it tastes like medicine.
Yeah,
I'm told by the bottom. I'll hold it up for those of you watching on the television. I'll hold it up. There it is. Here it is. Peppermint, pink grapefruit, and rose. That's what that's supposed to be. Of course, it tastes like petroleum. It tastes like petrol. However, if you've ever had a soup containing grapefruit, pink grapefruit, peppermint, and rose, let us know. Yeah. Now that we've got rid of the listeners, Charlie, let's get on with the show.
We can talk about sport now, Danny.
We're reviewing the championship matches from last night very, very soon here on H&J, Baker and Kelly. Kelly and Baker, call it what you want. We're heading towards the new year. Nobody's listening. The management are all on holiday, and he's in Centre Parks.
welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it, Biggs.
Needless to say, everybody, the idea that was poo-pooed and sniffed at by our junior producer, Andrew, has become the talk of the day.
It
Charlie,
really
just
has.
read a couple of those texts of the nearly 3,500 that have already arrived at talkSPORT.
Roops in Surrey. Hi, Roops. How are you? Chaps, I've spent the last fortnight in hospital, and whilst I love the NHS, lunch on Sunday, this is no good, was parsnip and pear soup. Absolute deviancy. That was because they were trying to get you out, I think.
Well, that set you back 2 weeks, wouldn't it? You know, you'd be back under the knife.
Why is everything falling out of you? Oh, it's the parsnip and pear soup. Here we go. Great show. Duncan. Thank you, Duncan. My nan used to make lentil soup with ham broth and then served it with chopped sausages. Now, what I'm hearing here, Danny, is ham and sausages.
Yeah.
This is fine. This is fine. The lentil soup is, well, you can leave that bit on the side.
It's a lentil stew, isn't
exactly.
it? That's
Now,
ideal.
not just the best soup, and that was the best meal. 20 years after she passed, we all get teary-eyed thinking of her when
how
Mum makes
lovely.
it. Duncan, I understand that. Very, very nice. Want one more, Danny? Or
Yeah, one more for now.
yeah, very
yeah.
nice. Hi, Super Sunday, they're thinking. Ollie in Bradford had an amazing French soup at Soulanez, Leeds, yesterday on our wedding day. Happy wedding day, Ollie. To echo Charlie, soup is nothing more than a starter at best. French onion soup, the best option, though, based on the Gruyere and the large crouton in the bowl. Yes, because it's got cheese in it.
Cheese on toast.
And a
Yeah, it's got
massive
cheese on
toast and a bit of soup.
Okay, listen. Meanwhile, in the middle of all of this soup discussion, we may get onto consommé later, please. That's just water, isn't it? The PDC World Darts Championship is up to day 17. We're really now into the important sort of guts of the competition. Let's get to the first update of the day, reporting for talkSPORT from Alexandra Palace, Chris Murphy.
Yeah, plenty of liquid lunches being consumed at Alexandra Palace, but not of the soup variety. We are down to the last 16, as you say, and Christoph Ratajski and Luke Woodhouse are kicking off proceedings this afternoon. Ratajski winning the first set 3-1 with an average of over 106, but a 110 checkout helped Woodhouse draw level. Still to come this afternoon, a couple of debutants looking to carry on their dream campaigns as Andreas Harrison and Justin Hood return to the Ali Pali stage. Sweden's delightfully nicknamed Dirty Harrison takes on world number 5 Johnny Clayton before Hood meets Josh Rock. If either can win, it would be a huge scalp and an enormous achievement to make it to the last day on their first attempt. Right now, though, it's one apiece between Ratajski and Woodhouse in a race to 4 sets, and the winner will take on Luke Littler in the quarter-finals on New Year's Day. Live commentary is on talkSPORT 2.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Get rooms from as little as £55 in the Big Village sale. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Yeah, some big games in the Premier League tonight. We'll be previewing the biggest one and from both an Aston Villa and Arsenal standpoint as the show goes on. But last night, the Championship, arguably the best league in world football, was in full swing. Everybody had a go at various times. Jeff Peters was at one of the games and is our talkSPORT Championship expert. And he joins us now. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Good evening, good afternoon to you. I'm trying to work out what day of the week it is and which game I'm due to be at. So I was at Stoke last night, I'm at Forest tonight, I'm at Derby on New Year's Day, I've got Forest Green on Saturday, plus all the various DJing gigs, this party time of year.
How did you were K-pop DJing the other day, Jeff? How did that go?
That was a strange thing that just came completely out of the blue. So I ended up doing Saturday and Sunday, one in Birmingham, one in Tamworth, K-pop Demon Hunters is a massive thing, which I know nothing about it, but I got sent these files with all the tracks to play, and we had the people singing on stage, and K-pop is massive. It was great fun. Loads of screaming kids. My ears have just about recovered, but yeah, what a time. It's Tuesday, isn't it? That's where we are at the moment.
K-pop Demon Hunters does sound like someone you might get in the Conference League.
Yeah. It might be something like Torquay or away at K-pop Demon Hunters, and it finished 2-2.
It's the third round of it's the third qualifying round of the Scottish Cup, isn't it? When K-pop Demon Hunters turn up.
Hun tricks. Yeah.
Jeff, we'll talk about the game you were at a little later, Stoke against Sheffield United, and what form Sheffield United are in, by the way. But of course, noticeable last night that the top four played each other. Tell us about that, because I'm of the opinion, Jeff, that Ipswich Town are the best team, despite Coventry's amazing start, and last night's result possibly backed that up a bit.
Well, Ipswich have done the double over Coventry this season. Coventry's unbeaten home run coming to an end. I think if you look at the table and go, Coventry are 10 points above Ipswich, I think Coventry are, you have to say, have been the best team in the Championship this season. It was only their third defeat in 24 matches. They've had 15 wins. They've got a goal difference of plus 29. Ipswich are sort of, building up. Their goal difference is up to 17 now, far clear. Much clearer than anybody else. Nobody else is in double figures in terms of goal difference apart from Ipswich.
But they started slowly, didn't they, the Tractor Boys?
They did, yeah. And you just wondered what sort of hangover they were going to have from the relegation last season. We've seen it a bit more with Southampton and Leicester and how inconsistent they've been after their relegations. But Ipswich have got going. Terrific. I think it's a statement result for them last night. And but I don't think Coventry fans need to worry too much. They're still incredibly well placed. Other teams are going to have to go on terrific runs this season to catch them, and Coventry falling away a bit. Which, they will have periods. I remember a couple of years ago, Leicester were running away with it early in the new year. They had a bit of a wobble. They were caught by other teams. They eventually got over the line. But I think what Frank Lampard has done has been excellent. They scored 54 goals this season. They're going to have off days and off nights. And Ipswich are proving to be a very good team. And the other two sides, well, Middlesbrough, they missed the opportunity to close the gap on Coventry. They were beaten at home by Hull. And what a season that the Tigers are having. New manager in there. Last season, they stayed up on the final day on goal difference. And they've kicked on from there and done fantastically well. So you've got Hull in fourth and Ipswich in third on 41 points. They're 2 points behind Middlesbrough, and then there's an 8-point gap between Borough and Coventry. So I think that I can't see Coventry falling away enough not to get into the top two. Yeah. Is there one more play? You've got Millwall are only 4
points.
Well,
they're all going to have to play each other as well, aren't they, Jeff? So that's the thing. Teams have to play each other. So
yeah, and I think what we've seen this season is teams have been taking points off each other. I mean, you look down to maybe 12th in the table, 4 points outside the playoffs. So there's.
You're only saying 12th in the table because that's Leicester City.
Yeah, but
including Leicester in the
they're probably going to get a 6-7 point deduction, so they won't necessarily be in the equation. But just to give you a flavour of that, that's just to sort of say how. How the table is looking. And I think when Luton got promoted a few years ago to the Premier League, were they 15th at Christmas or something? So even Southampton, Derby, Birmingham, West Brom, 6-7 points outside the playoffs. There's still another 22 games to go this season.
But momentum, isn't it, Jeff? Momentum works in both ways as well. If Coventry slip again in the next game, and suddenly it's a 7-point gap, and Middlesbrough start winning, Ipswich start putting a run together. It can that's the excitement of that league, is that everyone can beat everybody. Also, Frank Lampard doing such a great job. It's not long. I'm not saying this to wind Coventry fans up, but it's not long before, if he carries on doing it, somebody goes, he had a chance before. He didn't do badly at Chelsea. He did not do a bad job at all. I'm not saying Chelsea will give him his old job back.
He's got family connections to West Ham United. I've said it now.
Exactly. And you do have to go. Eventually, I think he's paid his dues. He's not a flash in the pan.
I don't think Frank Lampard will be going anywhere this season, unless they probably, they've suddenly lost 10 in a row, and they might go,
that's
well,
not
actually,
going to happen, is it?
But no, I really don't think that's going to happen. But I think what he's doing, when he came in last season, Coventry were much lower down the table. Mark Robbins was dispatched. Obviously, he did an incredible job at that football club. The metrics were suggesting that the team were going to get better, players coming back from injury, etc. And obviously, they got to the playoffs last year, semi-finals, beaten dramatic circumstances by Sunderland, who, wow, what amazing that they're doing in the Premier League this season. It's fabulous to see. But yeah, I think Coventry will finish in the top 2 places. I think Frank Lampard is a very calm, level-headed manager, and you look at some of those players from that era when he played have gone into management, and you look what he's done, and I think he's done pretty well. I think Coventry fans, I know there's going to be one or two getting a bit worried that they were beaten by Ipswich, but listen, they've got that cushion, and for me, they are the best team in the Championship.
Well, don't get me wrong, Joe. I wasn't trying to denigrate Coventry. I'm set to be proved wrong. I think Ipswich have the best squad, but I really, really want Coventry to go up. I have friends, and in particular one to whom I owe a great deal in life, and they have suffered greatly beneath the yoke of Coventry City in the past quarter of a century, and I would just be thrilled to see them back in the top level of English football. Listen, we'll take a quick break now. Still so much to get through, including the game you were at last night, and I want to talk about some of the car crashes happening in this league, Jeff, and I'm including in that Norwich City, for instance, and Oxford United, who just can't seem to get going at all. You're listening to Baker and Kelly and Baker, talk sport in the middle of the afternoon as we head towards the end of 2026. We're really delighted. We know many of you are still off work and could be doing something better than listening to us. We're thrilled that you've made this questionable choice.
Luke Littler has given an emphatic response, insisting he's not bothered after being booed during his win over Rob Cross.
just say one thing? You guys pay for tickets and you're paying for my prize money, so thank you. Thank you for my money.
The 18-year-old speaking to our friends at Sky there. Well, Jamie O'Hara has given his verdict on Littler's spat with a raucous crowd at Ali Pali.
If you boo him, you're an idiot. He's the greatest thing. We're all watching darts for Luke Littler.
Elsewhere this morning, Serena Wiegman has been awarded an honorary damehood in the New Year's honours list. Leah Williamson, Alex Greenwood, Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway and Ella Toone were also recognised. But Chloe Kelly was snubbed again. Rory McIlroy and Luke Donald were also left out. Now, Anthony Joshua's promoters Matchroom have confirmed the former heavyweight champion is stable and recovering in hospital following the car crash that killed 2 of his friends. AJ was pulled from the wreckage with minor injuries after the SUV he was travelling in collided with a stationary truck in Nigeria. And Forest have formally complained to the PGMOL for some of the decisions in Saturday's 2-1 defeat to City. But heading into his side's game against Everton tonight, Sean Dyche said he'd prefer not to discuss officiating.
Press refs used to not be noticed. You'd do their job, disappear, and everyone would just talk about the game. Now they're sort of part of it, and I don't know why the powers that be keep thrusting it upon them. Leave them alone and let them get on with their jobs.
You can hear that one live and exclusive on the talkSPORT app.
$26K for 2026 on talkSPORT.
Yeah, talkSPORT is already looking ahead to an exciting 2026, and we're giving you the chance to win a massive £26,000. And what better way to kick off 2026 than with some serious cash? Yep, 26 grand. It's our biggest New Year cash giveaway, and it could be yours. It's 26K for 2026. Here's how to enter, Charlie.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call, write this down, 0343 423 9761. Lines close 12 p.m. 9th of January 2026. That's when you'll need to answer your phone. If it rings, UK residents only, 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com/win. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Now, good luck.
You really know you've been on the radio for a long time when the newsreader, and I hope Amelia won't mind me saying this, I used to work with her mum back in the day
nice.
over at the BBC. And, of course, it's so great to see that her mum's in such great shape. She's had some illness, and I'm delighted to see Jackie in such fantastic shape these days. It's just great. Meanwhile, back at the championship. Oh, before we do, of the list of infinite texts we're having about soup, can it be a real meal? Best
There's a
of
lot
worst?
coming through.
Go get down to it. Why don't you read out the one from Paul from Bulgaria, who first lures us in by recommending a very specific soup and then has a pop at the most popular of all soups.
Okay, Paul Ivanov. Hello, Paul. The best soup in the world is Bulgarian fish soup. A clear, it doesn't sound nice, Paul. I'm going to say a clear light soup made from fresh carp. Carp's meant to be horrible.
Goldfish, yeah.
Carp, catfish, mackerel, vegetables and herbs. I like mackerel. It's not creamy or heavy, and it's horrible. The goal is a clean fish flavour, not thickness. The worst must be tomato soup. Tomato soup, Heinz tomato soup is the food of gods.
Yeah. I mean, that was the bit that really caught my eye when he has a pop at tomato soup.
And he's eating pure fish stock for lunch.
Yeah, and carp, which, unless I'm mistaken, is goldfish, isn't it? Really unbelievable. Keep those coming, please, 81089. And when we've talked about one specific match, we'll start another text to topic, and Charlie will tell you about We thought we had it won. Jeff Peters is still with us, and the game I'm referring to there, Jeff, is the game with the most fabulous ending. Portsmouth against Charlton, which, after 96 minutes, Portsmouth were meandering along quite happily to a regulation home win. What happened next?
Well, Charlton equalised in the 96th minute, and their fans were singing "We Never Lose at Fratton Park," and they were giving it the large one. I'm sure people may well have seen this on social media. The fans were giving it the large one, and then Portsmouth kicked off, went upfield, and managed to get an even later goal. It was a proper dramatic end to a football match, and that's the thing when you are a fan and you start, you get a last-minute goal or whatever, and you start giving it the large one, and then you go and concede, and just the highs and lows of football, and the lows and highs certainly from Portsmouth, thinking, oh, we've got 3 points, oh, it's only a point, hang on, we've gone and got 3 points. So it's big down the bottom. So Portsmouth 3 points above the relegation zone. They're 2 points behind Charlton, who of course were promoted with Birmingham and Wrexham doing the best out of the promoted teams. They're 11th. They're 4 points outside the playoffs, back-to-back wins for them. So, yeah, huge drama at Fratton Park right at the end, and that is as a fan, it's what you don't want if you're Charlton, and it's what you absolutely want if you're Portsmouth.
But as a fan, you think it's all, I don't know, I mean, Spurs fans, I definitely think, I'm assuming Leicester fans think it as well. Torquay fans, we always think, but this is always us. We always let in the goal. 88,
every team thinks that.
89 minutes, 90th, 91st minute goals are our stock in trade. That is, every fan thinks it happens to them, so it must even out. I don't know.
Yeah, and also I think every fan goes, oh, the referees hate us more than everybody else. Which, in unrelated news, I'm at Forest tonight covering the game. They're just every club seems to think that there is an agenda against them, that all the decisions go against them, and I think it's probably a default feeling from people is that there's always something against them. But yeah, there's nothing better than a stoppage time equaliser, or even better, a stoppage time winner. It's just the drama of football. We saw with Watford last night. They've gone to Norwich. Semedo with a goal in the 90th minute. And Watford was struggling to win away from home. They'd only won once on their travels. Then they won at Leicester on Boxing Day. They won at Norwich last night.
They look good, Jeff. Watford look really good for it.
They are in the playoff places. Players like Imran Loser, keep him fit. He looks a real talent. So they're a point behind Millwall, who are 5th in the table. Millwall obviously winning last night as well, coming from scoring late on to beat Bristol City, one of their promotion rivals. And you've got the likes of Preston just outside the playoff places. Obviously, they were in a relegation battle towards the end of last season. You've got Queen's Park Rangers, who I was there when they lost 7-1 to Coventry, and you're thinking, this is going to be a hard season. And suddenly they're very much in the mix. And Stoke City, the game that I was at last night against Sheffield United, brilliant start to the season, only just stayed up at the end of last season, but it's just started to tail off for them. 7 defeats in the last 10 games. And on the flip side of that, you look where Sheffield United were when Chris Wilder came back, and suddenly they're now 7 points clear of the relegation zone. Yes, they were 3-1 up against Wrexham on Boxing Day and lost 5-3. But they managed to see it through against Stoke last night. And Sheffield United are 9 points outside the playoffs. Yeah. There's every chance that with a manager as good as Chris Wilder, that they can be in the conversation. And he said, when I spoke to him after the game, we want to make changes. There's players that I'm happy to move on. I want to sign more of my type of players. So many teams in the Championship, I still think will feel that they've got something that they can say in the conversation in terms of promotion come the end of the season.
I think this window is so important in the Championship. It's so tight, as you say, Jeff. And there's so many teams coming from outside the playoff picture as well. This window is so important. Like you talk about Wrexham, as we know, they've got spending power. Lots of clubs have spending. Birmingham have spending power, don't they? They all, what happens in the Premier League, I think, will really filter down to the Championship. And I think teams are 2-3 good signings from getting promotion. It's going to be a really good end of the season, I think.
Yeah, I think there's also there's probably a premium that you pay for players in the January window that you perhaps don't pay quite as much for if it was in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, teams that are panicking about maybe getting relegated or want to make themselves that bit stronger to try and push on and get promoted. So yeah, I think it's
World Cup year. Players are going to want to play, aren't they? And I'm not saying players from the big nations, but maybe some secondary nations might want to drop down and they're going to want to play.
I'd say someone like Max Crocombe, who was at Burton, previously at Grimsby before that. He went to Millwall, didn't start this season, but he's got himself into the team and he's done really well there. He's an excellent goal. He's a New Zealand international. What a year ahead for him. Great guy as well. Terrific goalkeeper. And he's playing regularly. And, 2026 for him, there's a good chance that he's going to be playing for New Zealand in the World Cup. So we always look at the Premier League players. We sometimes don't cast our eyes quite as much a little bit further down as well. But we're going to see players from the EFL in the World Cup in 2026.
But look, the person who will be the most talked about footballer in England over the next 3 or 4 days, Antoine Semenyo, came out of the pyramid. He came out of clubs that are unfashionable, and he's an example to every single footballer.
Ollie Watkins, for example.
Happy birthday, Ollie
Jamie
Watkins.
Vardy, etc., etc.
Very good.
I think it's brilliant for the pyramid when we see these players who are progressed through the ranks. Tyrone Mings was another one who was playing. Was he at Chippenham or somewhere? I think he was somewhere way down the pyramid.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant to see that, and I think if you're a younger player, maybe in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th tier or whatever, and there's everybody evolves at different times. Who would have said that Vardy, for example? Well, he's kind of on his own as an exception. He was at Stocksbridge Park Steels. He was at Halifax. He was at Fleetwood, and of course, then the greatest of all time at Leicester City.
Yeah.
So
made his debut against Torquay, of course, Jeff,
in the EFL Cup, I believe.
Exactly.
Well done. You've managed to link Leicester and Torquay there together, the two of you. All I can do to link Vardy is the amount of goals he got against Spurs. But listen, Jeff, it's been an absolute whirlwind. Thank you very much indeed for reporting on what I genuinely believe is the most exciting league in world football these days. And we'll see what happens. We never got round to the almost insoluble question of what the hell's happened to Norwich City. You're listening to Danny Kelly and Charlie Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Toolstation.
welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Now we're going to be previewing a little later in the programme, or very soon actually, the big top-of-the-table clash in North London tonight between Arsenal and Aston Villa. But at the other end of the table, the wheels are spinning very, very hard for at least two football clubs. One of those is Wolverhampton Wanderers, the other is West Ham United. Both with relatively new managers, both still in terrible shape. Who better to get on to discuss those clubs than a man who represented both clubs with distinction? And, of course, I think I was at Wembley to see his England appearance. I think it was against Ghana. Hello, Matt Jarvis.
Hello,
How
Matt.
are you?
Good afternoon. Yes. Thank you, and it was against Ghana, so well done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I was there, and I'm going to say it. You came on for Jack Wilshere. What about that for an old geezer? Yeah, not bad.
That is
not bad.
Good memory. Very good.
But Matt, we have to talk. Where should we start? Let's start with Wolves. I see online speculation, and of course, that's not real life, that Rob Edwards is now under pressure. But surely when they brought him in, it was to deal with the fact that the club is, in all intents and purposes, relegated, and what he can do to get them out of the second tier next season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think it'll be extremely unfair for them to be putting this on the manager now without even coming to January, without even him having to hopefully get a chance to bring some players in that he wants to improve this squad, to give himself a fighting chance of anything. Let alone survival, is actually trying to get some points on the board. So no, he can't be under pressure. Like he can't be, because I at least see a bit more fight from the team since he's been in there. You can see unfortunately, it's always the performances against the top sides, isn't it? You see against Arsenal, you see against Liverpool, you see the fight from the players. But it's the games that you're expecting to try and pick up points. And I looked at that Brentford game at home and just thought they have to go and get something, and then they got comfortably beaten. And that's the disappointment, when you can play so well against the top sides, but it's the other teams that you need to be picking up points from.
I don't know if you were ever at a club, Matt, where it became a bit of a circus in the boardroom and in managerial stakes and all those places that aren't to do with on the pitch. What happens with the players in that situation? Do they galvanise? Do they come together? Do they have their own private chats, or is it every man for himself?
No, I would love to say to you that it is. If you're in a situation like that these two clubs find themselves in, the players they have to galvanise. They have to come together. I was in change rooms where the manager sometimes didn't even have to say anything, because the players in that change room would be pointing fingers, be telling people a few home truths. We will be sorting it out in the change room, and it just. I don't know whether that's happening with these two squads. I think that, we spoke about Wolves, so I'll say for them, at least now it shows that they're having a go. I think, Mateus Mane that's played in the last game, the young player, he was in our mentoring group last season when I was at the club there. But he's a young lad that, they've got no fear. They haven't been in this situation before. They don't really know what the pressures are with everything. Everyone else is bogged down with the points, the situation at the club, where they are in the league. But he's come in and he's just fresh. He's new. He just wants to go out and play well and do well. And that sometimes can have a really positive effect.
Matt, let's turn our attention to East London then, because In some ways, West Ham they still have every chance of surviving in the Premier League. But again, they're talking about changing Nuno Espirito Santo. Again, I don't think that would be fair, because when I look at that West Ham squad, forgive me, West Ham fans, for saying this, and I know you'll say you're a Spurs fan, Daniel. If you take Jared Bowen out of that squad, I don't see what tools he's got to do any better, him or any other manager. The problem there, it seems to me, Matt, and you can tell me I'm wrong, is terrible recruitment over the past 3 or 4 years, when they just haven't. They've allowed the team to fall away from the one that David Moyes had qualifying for Europe. They've replaced decent players with lesser players. That can't work in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, for starters, Nuno can't be under pressure. I think he's coming. You can see the style of play has changed. You can see that what he's trying to do with the team. It's just the biggest problem he's had is he's sort of had a good result or got a few points, and then it's massively dropped, and performances haven't been particularly great. Obviously, both fullbacks are now away with AFCON, so he's trying to not to makeshift, because Walker Peters has played there for years and years. Scholes is, again, a young lad that's come in, maybe not necessarily a left back, maybe a left-sided of a 3 potentially as a defender. But again, a young player that's coming into a squad that's not enjoying success, which it can be a great thing if you're an attacking player, but as a defender, you're going to be under pressure a lot, and any sort of mistake or anything, it gets punished. So it's a tricky situation to be in, but they have spent a lot of money in the last couple of years. So again, it's what and how they can do in the transfer window, because Nuno's going to be desperate to bring in some players, and West Ham need some players. They need something to change, because, as you said, Bowen is integral to everything they do.
Matt, why can't... This is too big a question, but West Ham have brought in centre-forward after centre-forward after centre-forward who don't do anything in East London. Then you see Scamacca's having a decent season in Italy. Nicholas Füllkrug is going from the relegation battle at West Ham United to join AC Milan in their quest to win both the Champions League and... sorry, not the Champions League, they're not in it. The Scudetto. And Callum Wilson, bless him, he's obviously the answer, but he clearly can't play 90 minutes twice a week. That's their problem. They've got to get a centre-forward who works.
Yeah, absolutely. But every club is after a centre-forward that's one that's going to be fit and one that's going to score goals. And for West Ham, it's a huge, huge problem. This season, when Callum Wilson's played, I think he's been excellent. He's been able to hold the ball up. He's obviously scored goals. He's a natural finisher. And he does so much for the team to get the team up the pitch. And it also helps massively for Bowen, because he can go back out on his favoured right side, and he's much more creative there. When he's moved to the centre-forward position, you lose a lot of his game and the creative spark that he does. So centre-forward is always something that they need. And, it's just, you start thinking Fulcrum was the answer because he's scored so many goals. But actually, when you look at the way he's played and the way that he scored all of his goals, it's very different to the way that West Ham play. So it's a different centre-forward that you could potentially need. And I think if you ask most supporters, I think they probably knew that.
I think
so it's a tricky one.
Voltemada's looking like, I know he's a few quid, but he's looking like good value at the moment, isn't he? He's really hit the ground running for Newcastle, and exactly what a lot of teams would like. Yeah,
but that's unfortunately, you pay a lot of money and you take a gamble. But some pay off and some don't, and unfortunately at the moment West Ham have struggled with the striker situations, because when they come in you think actually great bit of business, good striker, and then it just seems to go horribly wrong.
Matt, you know what? It's a real pleasure to see you looking so well and to talk to you. That's been great, and I wish you a happy New Year. I wanted to end on an upbeat note here by picking one of your other clubs who's doing a bit better than West Ham and Wolves. But I see Norwich City on the list, so I'm gonna swerve that, Matt.
Honestly,
how are Woking doing? How are Woking doing?
They're doing all right. They're doing all right.
There you are.
So I try and speak about them too.
There you are. Woking and Gillingham, everybody. They're Matt Jarvis's tips for the 2026 for you. Listen, Matt, it's been a joy. Thank you very much, Matt. Indeed.
Absolute pleasure.
Matt Jarvis, they're a really good player in his day, by the way. Just seems to have chosen some clubs that are doing a little bit poorly
at the moment.
Just at the moment.
Well, since he left. Since he left them, Danny.
Yeah,
see, that's
they've gone downhill. They've gone downhill. I genuinely looked on Wikipedia to see if I could find a positive note from that. I saw Norwich's name bleeping at the bottom of his career. Listen, everybody, that first hour has flown by. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've got 2 more to do, and you're listening to me, Danny Kelly, and him, Charlie Baker, on talkSPORT in partnership with Tool Station. Pick up your wet weather essentials today. Next stop, Tool Station.
talkSPORT understands Palace have agreed a fee of around £35 million with Tottenham for Brennan Johnson. That would be a club record fee for Palace. Johnson is also on the radar of Bournemouth and Everton, but Palace are seen as the frontrunners. Now, Luke Littler has admitted to losing his head after a hostile crowd at Ali Pali booed him during his win over Rob Cross. The 18-year-old now says he's expecting the worst in his quarter-final on New Year's Day. Elsewhere, Jamie O'Hara has been heaping praise on Man City's proposed move for Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo.
But I think signing him is a huge statement to the Premier League because it's saying to Liverpool, we can get a player over the line instead of you. He wants to come to us. And I think Arsenal will, they'll look at it and go, good signing that.
We're expecting his move to the Etihad to be confirmed either today or tomorrow. And it will cost City around £60 million plus add-ons. Looking ahead to tonight's football, Arsenal Villa is live and exclusive on talkSPORT.
Aston Villa right now are the best team on form in the league. And I just think this is a game that Arsenal know that they have to win.
Former Gooner Jermaine Pennant there. A win would take Arsenal 5 points clear at the top. Over on talkSPORT 2, we'll have Man United Wolves. Ruben Amorim says his captain Bruno Fernandes is still influencing the squad despite being out injured tonight.
He's the guy that is watching the trainings even after treatment. He's going there. I don't know if he wants my job or not, but he's a leader. The guy is a leader.
You can catch that one live at 8:15 tonight. In the cricket, England have dropped Jamie Smith for the T20 World Cup. Jofra Archer and Josh Tongue have both been picked, though. And Serena Wiegmann has received an honorary damehood in the New Year's Honours list. 5 of her lionesses have also been recognised, but Chloe Kelly and Hannah Hampton are left out, along with Rory McIlroy and Luke Donald. Olympic ice dancing champions Jane Torville and Christopher Dean have been made a dame and a servo.
You feel like you want to tell everybody because it's so exciting, but I just told them they had to curtsy when they came in the room.
There's plenty more at talksport.com.
You're listening to the second hour of 3 of today's edition of Hawksby and Jacobs. I'm Danny Kelly, slouching in for Paul.
Am I slouching? Oh, you're slouching in, yeah, sure.
No, your posture is perfect, Charlie. I can see that. Perfect posture, perfect hair. That's
what we go for.
Very good start.
If only I knew anything about sport, we'd be all the way there, Danny.
Well, you've already informed us about soup, and you're going to do detectives later. So the sports thing, I'll try and do the heavy lifting there, Charlie. Charlie Baker is with us as well, as you can hear. Now, and that was great fun talking to Matt Jarvis, but that was about the bottom of the Premier League. But tonight, really big business. Huge. Arsenal against Aston Villa, massive game at the very top of the Premier League, and it's live on talkSPORT tonight.
Arsenal will be Christmas #1, and this year, to save him from tears, Arteta hopes that the Gunners can do something special.
Why not? Why are we not winning this season?
Arsenal just need to keep winning their games. They've not done an awful lot wrong.
There's bodies everywhere, and it's rifled in by Buendia!
You can legitimately now ask a question. Is there a world where Morgan Rogers can propel Aston Villa to a league title?
Everything he touches just turns to gold at the moment.
Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 2, and you can put Villa down as title challengers.
I don't know the difference is contender or favorite. We are no favorite. Favorite Arsenal to win the title.
I do think this is an important season for Arsenal. At the end of the day, football managers at big clubs that are spending hundreds of millions of pounds per year are paid to win things.
Comes to Erdogan, left-footed, off the underside of the bar, and in.
Left-footed curved in, and in! It's Watkins, and they've turned it around.
Are you ready for a title race?
There is a way, of course, Charlie, I know you know this, where I don't need my next guest because I was brought up in Highbury. Everybody I know and love supports Arsenal.
Yeah.
All my family support Arsenal. The lady wife is a former season ticket holder before we moved to another country. So I get their progress towards this coveted league title week by week, hour by hour, in minute detail. But because it is radio, we should get an expert on. Harry Symeou, of course, says a talkSPORT host, particularly on talkSPORT 2, a big Arsenal fan. He joins us now. Hello, Harry.
Hey, Harry.
How you doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Yeah, really good, thank you. And look, this is a fantastic opportunity for Arsenal, isn't it? Because not only can they take another 3-point step towards improving from second to being the champions of England, but they can knock an Aston Villa team who are in fantastic form. They can, if they win, Arsenal, knock Aston Villa back to, into a normal run of form, because what they're doing at the moment is supernatural.
Yeah, Aston Villa are flying at the moment, and someone needs to bring them down a peg or two. Let's hope that it's Arsenal tonight. But look, I think this is a really fascinating game because Arsenal fans are looking at this and feeling that, obviously it's must win every game when the margins are so fine, and when you've got two teams like City and Villa in hot pursuit, feels like it's really, really important. But I just think tonight would be huge for Arsenal if they could get over the line in terms of the psychological battle that they face in terms of winning this Premier League title as well, because Aston Villa are one of the hurdles at which Arsenal have previously fallen. You think back to that 2-0 Villa win at the Emirates Stadium a couple of seasons ago, a 2-2 draw last season, which was very, very frustrating from an Arsenal perspective. And there is obviously that history with Unai Emery. Manager came to Arsenal, took over from Arsene Wenger, struggled for reasons, I think, partly down to him, but partly down to reasons beyond his control as well. And I think he feels like he's got a point to prove every time he takes the Gunners on. And so, if Arsenal can win tonight, it feels like it would be a psychological boost as well as obviously the 3 points. And if Aston Villa win it, well, who's going to write them off then at that point? Because it's been weeks and weeks now where we've been sitting here and saying Aston Villa will drop off. Aston Villa don't have what it takes to go the distance, yet they keep on winning. So they deserve the respect. They deserve to be in the conversation. And it sets tonight's game up as a brilliant one. It really, really does.
I think I'm right in saying that Emery's never lost at the Emirates as the manager of an away team. I think I'm right in saying that. I may have made that up, Harry. But I think I don't know if you can tell me if he was like this when he was at Arsenal. He seems to be an exceptional coach, man to man. So going up against the other manager of the other team, he seems to be able to change what he's doing to beat that particular manager.
Yeah, he's really, really flexible, but I think that only really works when you are at a club, with all due respect to Aston Villa, where it's okay at times to be the underdog. And I know at the time he was at Arsenal, you could say that of Arsenal. You absolutely could. But taking over from Arsene Wenger, he was expected to do certain things. He was expected to come in and clean house. We all felt as Arsenal fans that there was a lot of players there that shouldn't have been there, that the team needed rebuilding. And I mentioned that I felt that some of the reasons he failed were out of his hands. And I really do believe that, because he never had anywhere near the power or the autonomy that he now has at Aston Villa.
Yeah.
And you've seen at Aston Villa that when he's got that extra control and that bit more of a say, that he can do things and he can make things work. At Arsenal, that was never the case. He was only ever given a 2-year deal. He clearly wasn't the first choice at that point. And he came in and it was almost as if the club had gone, yeah, we'll have you for now and let's see what you can do, but we're not really going to go all in on you. And I think he really suffered from that. Personally, I don't think he was the right man for Arsenal at the time. I think it was right that they moved on from him. He made some decisions that for me were sort of hiding a little bit as a manager. There were some big decisions to be made and he just didn't make them. He seemed to try and keep the peace, whereas at Aston Villa, where he feels like maybe, he's, I don't want to say bigger than the club, but he's a European trophy winning manager on multiple occasions. He probably feels like, he can take it by the horns and do something different. And it's really worked for him so far. Credit to him.
It's one of those things, Harry, isn't it? That most Spanish coaches are very good at managing upwards against the big boys because they all learn their trade having to deal with having Barcelona and Real Madrid in the same league as you. And that's where you learn to play reactive football on the break, because you're not going to have the ball against those two teams, and those are your big games of the season. Talking about Arsenal's form, because before teams got to grips with their sheer size, which is, of course, all to balance out the brilliance of Saka and the set pieces and all the rest of it. They were rumbling through the Premier League and the Champions League. Slightly fallen off from that absolute peak, I'd say, in the last few weeks. Harry, is that fair?
Yeah, I think there's a few results in there that you look at and you feel were disappointing. The defeat at Aston Villa, which was just 24 days ago. It's wild to think that we're playing them again so soon. That was disappointing. The draw at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea went down to 10 men. Arsenal didn't quite have enough in the tank to get over the line and take all 3 points. But I'm not too worried or too concerned, because I feel like you can explain this slight drop-off from Arsenal. You look at some of the injuries they've had defensively in particular. They were without William Saliba for a number of games. They've only just got Gabriel back. Ben White came back into the team. Exactly, that's massive. Ben White came back into the team very shortly afterwards, picked up an injury. There was no Calafiori the other night. So they've had to keep patching things up at the back, and that has meant they're not quite as solid. They haven't been as robust as they normally are. But where I take some encouragement is that actually in the last couple of games, Palace in the League Cup and, of course, Brighton just the other day, it feels like Arsenal have found their mojo again in an attacking sense. They're not scoring as many goals to create those comfortable margins that have us all sitting back on our chairs nice and comfortably, but they are creating a hell of a lot more when you look at some of the underlying numbers. And I think it's about time that clicked and that turned into gold. And I think tonight could be that night.
I'm really interested in Victor Gyökeres as well, because people have been vaguely critical of him, but I think people are being really unrealistic, because if you take Erling Haaland out of the Premier League, people don't get 20, 25, 30 goals a season anymore in the Premier League. He's got 5 so far. I think he's doing fine. I
think he's been a little bit underwhelming, if I'm being honest. But okay. I do agree that some of the criticism has gone overboard. I do feel like it's one extreme or the other. You either back him really strongly or you're really anti him. And I think actually the truth...
Who knew with modern football fans that there would be that thing going on?
Absolutely. I think the truth is somewhere in between. Look, I do worry at times about his movement. I don't think it is as sophisticated as it needs to be in the final third. I think there is... And obviously the players will deny this and everybody would deny this, but I do feel like there's a reluctance at times to play him in, maybe because there isn't that trust there that he's going to turn whatever situation presents itself into something, because he hasn't done it often enough. I think when Gabriel Jesus has been on the pitch across the last few weeks, Arsenal have looked a much better attacking outfit. And wow. I don't expect Mikel Arteta to do this, by the way. But if it were me picking the team tonight, I wouldn't start Victor Gyökeres. I really wouldn't. I feel like Jesus has found that combination again with Gabriel Martinelli. Those two work great together. Odegaard looked really good again the other night. I feel like you have a choice as Arsenal Football Club now. You either prioritise trying to play to this number 9 that at this stage hasn't shown enough, in my opinion, or you rely on the collective. And I think Arsenal are better off right now trying to enable the collective rather than trying to play Gyökeres' way. That's just my opinion.
Were you expecting that, Harry? Were you expecting Jesus to come back and be strong and not just be sort of playing till he gets a move in January? Were you expecting him to be the focal point?
I wasn't expecting him to be as fit when he returned. You know, he looks so sharp, which is incredible. And I guess at the beginning, when you first come back from an injury like that and you've been out for so long and you've been chomping at the bit and desperate to play, there is an element of adrenaline that gets you going. And I do expect at some point it'll probably flatline a little bit or go back to a more normal level. But I just think with Jesus, he's got such a great natural chemistry with so many of the players around him. And I think when you go back to that first season, Arsenal burst onto the scene as title contenders, he played a massive, massive part in that. And I just think over the last couple of years where he's been riddled with injuries, people have forgotten what a good player Gabriel Jesus is. Is he the finished article? Is he the best finisher? No, he's not. We know that that's something lacking. But I just think his all-round game at this moment in time brings a bit more value than what Victor Gyökeres is bringing to the table at this stage.
Harry, it's been an absolute education listening to you talk with such precision about where Arsenal are. I'd like to wish you good luck for tonight, but I've got to remain neutral. Bless you, Harry. Thank you very much.
It was so pipes of peace for a minute there. It was so
almost. I know.
It was so playing football on Boxing Day, you know, in no man's land.
You knew that there was something coming. And a Happy New Year to you, my friend. Harry Symeou there, who you can hear over on talkSPORT quite often, and a big, big Arsenal fan. And we will, of course, be getting an Aston Villa view on all this in just a little while here on Hawksbee and Jacobs, where you're actually listening to Baker and Kelly and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Toolstation.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We've been taking you through what should be another busy day of football. Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Yeah, we're heading towards one of the absolute highlights of today's edition of Hawksby and Jacobs, Charlie's Baker's Dozen. I'll tell you about that in just a second, but first, though, the darts continues apace in the high points of North London. Let's get the latest from Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Krzysztof Ratajski, the Polish Eagle, has wrapped up his spot in the quarterfinals on New Year's Day. He's beaten Luke Woodhouse by 4-2, averaging just around about 97, the best player that Poland has ever produced. He's into the quarterfinals for the second time, earning himself a cool £100,000 in the process. The bad news, he'll spend his birthday on New Year's Day taking on Luke Littler, the world champion. Could be a tough matchup for Ratajski. Is through. On stage now, another former world quarterfinalist, Johnny Clayton, the Ferret. He's taking on the Swedish qualifier Andreas Harrison, on debut, has made it through to the last 16, and it's the Swede who leads by 2-1 in the opening set. Race to 4 sets. It's all live right now over on talkSPORT 2. Clayton Harrison in the first set. Harrison leading 2-1.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Get rooms from as little as £55 in the Big Village sale. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
So, Charlie, listen, because we're now going to do Baker's Dozen over 2 sections, one now and one later, I feel I can interrupt you in your valuable time here to tell you about my sporting experience at Alexandra Palace.
Oh, lovely.
A million years ago, when the earth was young and dinosaurs roamed it, my parents took me. I was about 10 years of age, so it's a long time ago. You can't imagine this now. But the Alexandra Palace was very much a hive of activity in those days. The BBC was up there. There was a horse racing track at Alexandra Palace.
Very nice.
And so one Easter we got taken up there as little kids up to a fun fair. Now, fun was not the word I would use for these sort of fairs, but we got taken on a beautiful sunny Easter day fun fair. And among the many attractions at the fun fair was a tent in which, this is where the sporting angle comes in which boxing and wrestling were happening simultaneously.
Oh, lovely.
There was people doing wrestling and boxing in the ring at the same time.
On the same ring? Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
I knew this because I was looking through a gap in the canvas of the big top where this was happening, through a slit in the canvas, because I didn't have tickets nor the wherewithal to get in to watch boxing and wrestling in the ring. I was about 10 feet from the edge of the entrance to the big tent, right? Unfortunately, the Alsatian dog on a chain who was guarding the entrance was on a 12 feet long chain. And I got savaged. There's no other word for it. And it got a big bite out of my tummy. Now there's a lot of blood, and my parents get hold of me, and an ambulance is called, and we're trying to get out of a thronged Alexandra Palace. There's bells ringing, there is lights flashing, and we've got those. You can't see into the ambulance, but we can see out, and people are pressed up against it. We're going at 1 mile every 20 minutes.
Yes,
as we try to get out of the crowd. There's an episode of Star Trek where the universe becomes overpopulated, and the Starship Enterprise is forced to go through space with people pressing their face up against. They're in the vacuum of space.
Yes,
and now as it happens, I was fine, and there's not even a mark left on me. It looked terrible.
You made a fuss over nothing, Danny.
Yeah, I think you could say that, Charlie, and that's the kind of parenting I've come to expect from you.
Get on with it.
But listen. I love Baker's Dozen, and when you sent me this one last night, what you're going to do, I was so excited that we should do a 4-hour show about this.
Yes.
But we are going to spread it over 2 hours. Tell people what your dozen is today, my friend.
My dozen today is 12 best TV cops and spies.
Oh,
cops and it's by two things. It's been inspired by. My wife, Sam Battersea, is in Dawn French's new show, which comes out on the 7th of January. It's called Can You Keep a Secret? And my wife is in it as a police officer.
Yeah.
She's in it as a police officer. And I got lots of photos of her in the outfit, Danny.
Yes.
Which she would send him. I was not asking for these pictures,
no.
but it's allowed. We're married. We're married 22 years.
Yes.
So
I don't suppose you even know what cosplay is, do you?
I don't even know what that is, Danny.
No,
but
quite,
there we are.
yeah.
But she's in that, so do watch that. But also over Christmas, I'll have a look for any old film over Christmas.
Yeah.
And I found a Michael Caine film I'd never ever seen called Funeral in Berlin.
Yeah.
Fantastic!
Oh,
absolutely brilliant.
Part of a trilogy of films.
Part of the Harry Palmer series,
John le Carré's stories. Amazing,
of course, yeah. And he's fantastic in it. It's a brilliant. It's fun, but it's also those 60s, 70s films. So well shot.
I really scared you there, English.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Russian guy in it is good. Whenever I watch a film, Danny, I don't know if you're the same. Maybe you're not. I watch and go, now which part would I play in this? In this film, and I often like to think, I'd love to be that Michael Caine part, but I have to just often go, no, you're the funny Russian guy going, yes, English, ha 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 ha.
No, it's funny when I watch a film, I think, what part would Charlie Baker play in this? Yeah, very odd. Yeah.
Anyway, so the Baker's Dozen is cops and spies. One being Harry Palmer. I mean, those Harry Palmer, Michael Caine films. He's brilliant in them. He's got sort of one acting style. Michael Caine, isn't he? But it's the truth. That's his acting style. I will tell you the truth in any situation. His best performance is, of course, in Muppet Christmas Carol. He is absolutely incredible in that film. And but his one acting style is the truth. And he's brilliant. And he looks great in a Mac. He manages to wear a brown Mac and not look like a flasher.
No.
Can you say flasher anymore, Danny? I don't know.
No, I don't think you can. But since as we agreed, since the soup conversations, no one's listening, so it's not a problem, is it?
I don't know if you can say flasher anymore.
So anyway, Harry Palmer is number one. That is fantastic.
And then I'm going to say Christine Cagney and Mary Beth Lacey. I think we've got some music for this, Kitch. Here comes the music. Oh, yeah. You can watch it at the moment. You can watch complete Cagney and Lacey on Amazon Prime, complete from series 1. And as part of the thing on Amazon Prime, it says skip intro, which is the most pointless button ever on Amazon because no one's skipping the Cagney and Lacey intro. No one is skipping that bit of sax there. But also, shock, horror, series 1 of Cagney and Lacey. It's a different Cagney.
What?
It's a different actor playing Cagney. I don't know what happened to her after.
Help me with which one? Which one was the blonde one?
Sharon Gless is Cagney.
Is Cagney, yeah.
And Tyne Daly is Lacey now. Tyne Daly is a Broadway actor. She was a big Broadway actor. She's played all the big Broadway musical parts.
And of course, she turns up, Charlie, in 2 classic detective franchises because she is Clint Eastwood's partner in the second Dirty Harry film.
Fantastic. Yes, no, of course. Now, so
having gone through, I don't want a Mexican partner. Then go, I don't want a female partner. You know. That's
of course, yeah.
And there she is. Yeah.
Anyway, so series 2, if you want, if you want Sharon Gless and Tynedale, series 1, you go, something's missing here. It's not quite right, but it's a brilliant show. And you can watch the whole thing on Amazon Prime at the moment. My favourite, Columbo. This isn't the end of the 13, obviously, but I absolutely love Columbo. I think it's phenomenal. What Columbo is, Danny, is jazz, right? Because with a great jazz song, they will play you the tune at the start.
Yeah.
So you've heard the tune. They have established the tune of what is going on in the song at the start. Which is what happens in Columbo. They will show you who's done it.
Remarkable, isn't it?
They'll show you who's done it, and then they'll go off and they'll play all sorts of other bits and pieces. Like they will in jazz, and you'll hear all sorts of other things. And then at the end, they'll come back to the tune again.
Yeah.
And that's what happens in Columbo. But what a performance. I mean, the world expert on Columbo is Tim Vine. If you ever find Tim Vine, he can give you chapter and verse on Columbo.
It's my mum's favourite too, because I think a matter of laziness rather than stupidity, she likes to know who's done it very early in the piece. And this is a great one, because instead of her turning to me and goes, do you think it's him? She knows from the very, very start who's done it. And I think it gives her great security, because she's pretty confident that Columbo will catch him.
Otherwise, there's no show. There's no show. Just one more thing.
One more thing. One more thing now, Charlie.
One more thing here. I'm going to say, at the moment, amazing. Jackson Lamb, Slow Horses is a pretty great TV show, Danny.
Oh, listen, 2 things about that. One, it's making me cry with nostalgia, because all those shots where their office is at the bottom end of the city road, which I left behind 7 or 8 years ago. And so the restaurant they'd work above, the Vecchia, I've eaten plenty of food in that restaurant. And secondly, I had the thrill, the honour, a couple of years ago, when the lady wife and I were on the Queen Mary, because the Cheltenham Literary Festival was at sea, and I got to spend some time with Mick Herron, the writer.
Yeah.
And so I feel, even though it's complete presumption, that I know him, because we've had a couple of dinners together, right?
Of course.
So recently, Jackson Lamb, and then he's had another series on Down Cemetery Road, in which Emma Thompson has played the detective part.
Oh, yeah.
She's essentially the same character, but female, with leather trousers and spiky hair.
It's good, that show. It's a good show.
So recently, Alex, the lady wife, was interviewing Mick in front of the writer of Jackson Lamb, in front of 1,000 people somewhere in London. I said, put it to him that Jackson Lamb is progressive rock. She's the right age, Mick. And that she, Emma Thompson, her character, is punk rock. And do you know what? He stopped and said, I've never thought about it, but that sounds exactly right. So I felt totally exonerated.
You'll hear that quoted now by someone somewhere. And go, I made that up.
I don't mind it. I stole a lot of my stuff from other people as well, so I don't worry about that. Listen, more coming up. Is it 3:45? Let me know. I've got a time.
Yeah, 3:45, and we'll do the rest.
Yeah, we'll do the rest of Baker Dozen, because I'm enjoying them too much, it's fair to say. I think that's it. Maybe just remind you again once more that you're listening to Kelly and Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. And you can gear up for the darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Your next stop is Toolstation.
Luke Littler has given an emphatic response, insisting he's not bothered after being booed during his win over Rob Cross.
Can I just say one thing? You guys pay for tickets and you're paying for my prize money, so thank you. Thank you for my money.
The 18-year-old speaking to our friends at Sky there, well, Jamie O'Hara has given his verdict on Littler's spat with a raucous crowd at Ali Pali.
If you boo him, you're an idiot. He's the greatest thing. We're all watching darts for Luke Littler.
Elsewhere this morning, Serena Wiegmann has been awarded an honorary damehood in the New Year's honours list. Leah Williamson, Alex Greenwood, Keira Walsh, Georgia Stanway and Ella Toone were also recognised. But Chloe Kelly was snubbed again. Rory McIlroy and Luke Donald were also left out. Now, Anthony Joshua's promoters Matchroom have confirmed the former heavyweight champion is stable and recovering in hospital following the car crash that killed 2 of his friends. AJ was pulled from the wreckage with minor injuries after the SUV he was travelling in collided with a stationary truck in Nigeria. And Forest have formally complained to the PGMOL for some of the decisions in Saturday's 2-1 defeat to City. But heading into his side's game against Everton tonight, Sean Dyche said he'd prefer not to discuss officiating.
Best refs used to not be noticed. You'd do their job, disappear, and everyone would just talk about the game. Now they're sort of part of it, and I don't know why the powers that be keep thrusting it upon them. Leave them alone and let them get on with their jobs.
You can hear that one live and exclusive on the talkSPORT app.
Remind you that talkSPORT are giving you the chance to win £26,000 in 2026. Head over to talksport.com/win to find out how to enter. Huge prize. Listen, we've been talking about football in England so far. Let's move further north now to Scotland.
Oh, yeah.
And I love saying these words because tonight is a huge game in North Lanarkshire. At Fir Park, to be precise, where Motherwell, 4th place in the Scottish top division, take on Celtic, who can, if they win by a big enough margin, and amazingly after a pretty chaotic season, find themselves back at the top of Scottish football. To help us preview the game, I'm delighted to say we're joined now by comedian and Celtic fan Susie McCabe. Good afternoon, Susie.
Hey, Susie, never in doubt, Susie.
Never in doubt, lads. You know me, Charlie.
Susie, let me ask you, I hope it's not too odd a question. Do you actually like it better when Celtic are not just walking away with the title and there is a bit of a challenge like this year?
Yes. Yeah, because, look, that's why we all love sport, isn't it? Yeah, listen, I love my team winning. There's nothing that I love more, but that's why we love sport, and it is a big challenge this year. And we can look at all the varying degrees and factors, but ultimately there are decent teams in Scotland playing decent football this season, and it has made for a much more exciting season for everyone.
Yeah, I thought as much. I mean, and it's odd that the challenge this year is not coming from your local neighbours across the city of Glasgow, but from Hearts. It has led to...
To be fair, Danny, they've not challenged in a few years, Rachel. So that's the truth of that situation.
Susie, let me write that down so I don't make that terrible mistake again anytime soon.
There's been no challenge.
But of course, it's led to sort of slight chaos at Celtic, with fans being up in arms. Then Brendan Rodgers goes. Wilfred Nancy, and I really thought from his name, this guy's not going to do well. I mean, what kind of name is Wilfred after all? But the start was terrible.
Yeah.
But help me, Susie. Is he getting a grip on this now after the last 2 results?
Yeah, I mean, look, he was always having to come in and fill the blessed Martin's shoes was always going to be difficult. But he's came in, he has set his stall out, he knows how he wants to play football, he's not deviating from it. He has been given a threadbare squad, which was part of the reason Brendan left. And we are expecting him to work miracles. But a Celtic threadbare squad is still considerably more valuable than every other squad in the league. So he is starting to do it. I mean, the game the other night, I mean, Livingston, I don't think Livingston had scored in 6 games. And they scored like 2 goals in 5 minutes.
It was a great game. I know maybe not if you were involved in it, Susie, but it was for neutral.
Yeah.
It was a fabulous football match.
It was a great game, and you know, I feel as if this Celtic team's very small. They're quite light. They don't have a lot of kind of big defenders. Livingston and actually St Mirren, Stephen Robinson and Davy Martindale always fill their teams with big lads. And the cup final and the Livingston game, you've really seen that. And it's not even, I mean, especially not some more, you know, St Mirren. I mean, they're boys that can play football. So it was a great game the other night. We can't defend for toffee, but we can score goals. So, I mean, it's exciting. Granted, you could argue that's not how you win leagues, but it is exciting. And my first season supporting Celtic was the centenary season. And Celtic either won the game 3-0 in the first 20 minutes or won it in the last 30 seconds. So it's exciting, and I think it's breathed a bit of fresh air into the Scottish League as well.
Yeah, and I know that they probably had a chance already to pay tribute to him, but I'm sure you'll want a chance to mention as well John Robertson, who left us on Christmas Day, who, by every account, apart from what was obvious to me, I watched him play at the peak of his powers. He was one of the great players in that Nottingham Forest team and played well for Scotland. But everyone says he was a great bloke as well. And, of course, he coached at Celtic.
Yeah, I mean, he came in with Stevie Walford and, of course, Martin. And you know, that first season they delivered a treble. And that was the first treble since Jock Stein, which is kind of mad to think about that now in 2025, given how many we've won. But he was a great coach, a great crosser of the ball, and we actually signed a player called Didier Agat from Hibs.
From Hibs, I saw him for Hibs. I saw him play for Hibs, and then the same season I saw him play for Celtic.
Yeah, and he was like Roadrunner.
He was great.
Every 1 in 4 crosses was a decent cross. And
he was like a great fun player.
Great, but if John Robertson, the 20 cigarette a day man, can't teach you to cross a ball, nobody's going to teach you to cross a ball. So, yeah, really, really sad to hear of that, because he had a massive contribution in that squad for the 3-4 seasons that Martin was here initially. So, yeah, really, really sad to hear that.
Because it's just you know, people, we're all going to go one day, and people do go, and it's only sometimes he seems to have been a very special guy, because the outpourings, particularly on social have been, you know, we all say R.I.P. wasn't he a great player, wasn't he a great singer, whatever. John Robertson appears to have the big beasts of Fleet Street have all written. Each one of them has written a 2,000-word piece about what a great guy he was.
Yeah. So what's a real throwback as well? Even when you listen to, you know, Big Sutton and stuff like that, he was the guy in the coaching staff that kept all the spirits up. You know, he was the guy out in the training park calling people a donkey and having that real camaraderie in the dressing room, and that can never, ever be underestimated.
What's going to happen now, Susie? Is Celtic going to hitch their shorts up and run to the finishing line, run away from Hearts? I've enjoyed Hearts this season. I love the fact that Lawrence Shankland is getting a chance to be featured, you know, on television programmes and all the rest of it. What's your gut, your instinct? Do you think that the Celtic will run away with this now?
I think it really depends in the January transfer window. So we need to get a striker. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still scoring goals, but we need to get a striker. We need to get a defender who can play in a 3 at the back, because Tierney can move in. Cameron Carter-Vickers is injured. We're waiting for Alistair Johnston to come back. but we could play him up the park. So, and we need a wee bit more creativity. Again, we've suffered with Jota being injured, but I do feel that if we get some players in and there's a bit of momentum, because you can feel the momentum shifting towards Wilfred Nancy. I'm very much give the guy an opportunity and until he's not. But what's really interesting is the way it's been portrayed that Wilfred Nancy, I mean, we've lost 7 of our 16 goals this season under him, but the past 2 games we've scored 7 goals. 7 goals. So you're sitting going, well, you know, the game is essentially about scoring goals. So as long as we keep doing that, we'll be all right. So, yeah, I mean, Hearts, listen, Derek McInnes sets up his teams. They're hard to beat, but they're playing great football. They've got some cracking players, Shankland, Braga, Cammy Devlin, who I wouldn't mind seeing as part of that Celtic setup. So, yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to be a run-in, and it's going to be... It might be a photo finish, who knows? But do you know what? It's why we love sport, isn't it?
I don't have the power, Susie. I don't have the power, but I'm offering you these things now. I'm offering you that Scotland get out the group at the World Cup, but Celtic don't win the league. I'm offering you that now. Hearts win the league. Rangers don't win the league, but Hearts win the league. But Scotland get out of the group at the World Cup.
The affection between Celtic and Hearts fans is not that far away.
I'm very aware of that, but that's why I know it's not a massive offer. So it's a tough decision for you, Susie.
Do you know what? Right, I've got my tickets booked. I've got my flights booked to the States for the game. Right. Yeah. But I just know that if we had to get into the last 16, we'd probably get Argentina or something ridiculous, right? So I'm going to say, could I live with Hearts fans saying, Ken, aren't we bra? Or Scotland getting out the group and we just have a party for 3 games? I'm going to go Celtic still winning the league.
Oh, okay. There we are.
Wow. I mean, given that it's almost impossible not to qualify in this World Cup for the next round. Listen, Susie, it's been an absolute joy.
Thanks,
Happy
Susie.
Hogmanay to you. And thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks very much, and impossible not to qualify for this World Cup. You cut me deep, fella. You cut me deep. Have a good New Year, lads. See you later.
Cheers. Bless you. Susie McCabe there. We're rattling through this show, aren't we?
Nice
Still
show.
plenty to come. Next up, we'll be going from Scotland to Morocco for the very latest from the African Cup of Nations, which continues apace and is turning into a brilliant tournament already. Tony will join us, as he has done so often here on talkSPORT the last few days, with all the latest from, as I say, a country with a Mediterranean coast and an Atlantic coast. I love that.
welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
You know, we don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Yeah, we'll be going to hear from our correspondent, Tony Aoki, at the AFCON in Morocco very, very soon. But, Charlie, one or two things started to emerge from the recently announced New Year's honours list. And thank you for the letter I know you've already sent to the King.
I tried to get it over the line, Danny. They just did not like the NME. They hated the NME.
They hated that cover with a wedding present, I know, yeah.
They weren't wedding present fans.
Big fun, though, is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club with a lovely picture of Daniel Levy, the man that they binned a few months ago, with a great congratulatory message on his OB,
they've done that, have they?
Well they really have, yeah. And you think, oh my goodness. But lots of sports people on it. Of course, Serena Wiegmann gets an honorary because she's a citizen of another country. Totally deserved that, blimey. We'll come back to those perhaps a little bit later because we have now established contact with Tony Aoki.
Oh, good.
But first of all, we all say, hello, Tony, how are you?
Hello, Tony.
Hey guys, how are we?
Yeah, good, mate.
Listen, I should. This is about the 9th day running that Tony and I have been talking to each other, Charlie, and so I have to first check because we know that Morocco is a very large country with mountains, deserts, all the rest of it, and so the expected sunshine has not always shone on Tony, and more than once he's got absolutely drenched. How is the weather today?
I'm so sorry for you, Tony.
Yeah, you know what? The weather's got much better. You can't see behind the curtain, but I'm in Feds at the moment, not too far from the snowy Irfan, which was literally snowing on Christmas Day. So it's still going to be quite cold because you're getting the cold coming from there. I feel like a weather correspondent right now.
Again, Charlie repeats his sympathy for you out there at the AFCON in Morocco. So tell us what happened in the last round of matches, please.
Yeah, so Morocco had a really good win yesterday against Zambia, 3-0, very comprehensive. And for those that don't know, I think if you watched the opening game, everyone saw Ayoub El Kabi's bicycle kick, but he's only gone and done it again. I don't know how someone has become really good at bicycle kicks, but I've witnessed 2 bicycle kicks in the same tournament, and it's the most confusing thing I've ever seen.
Still the favourites, do you think, Tony, Morocco?
Do you know what? After this round, I don't think Morocco are the favourites, and Moroccan fans don't really think they're the favourites. I think it's easy to pick them as the favourites because they're the host nation. They had a very good World Cup in 2022. They've put so much money into Moroccan football in general. So it looks like you should just make them the favourites. But football-wise, there's going to be a bias here. I'm going with Nigeria. Senegal have looked quite decent as well. Egypt have looked good as well. So I would say Morocco are amongst the favourites because of home being in the host. But honestly, when I just tell you, like, it will probably be one of those teams or Morocco in the final.
Well, look, I not only do I agree with you that Nigeria, led by Victor Osimhen, are the favourites, Tony, I just can't understand how they didn't qualify for the World Cup, but that's probably for another time, another place. A couple of 0-0 draws, Comoros 0, Mali 0, and Angola 0, Egypt 0. Did Egypt rest Mohamed Salah?
Yes, Egypt rested 11 players in the end. They were already through, so they decided just to arrest them, which was the right thing to do. I think we're going to see the same from Nigeria today. They're already through, so I expect the likes of Victor Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, Alex Iwobi not to play. We still don't know just yet. I'm going to go to the game straight after this. But this is the thing. Mali have made it, which is quite astonishing. Even though they haven't won a game, they've drawn all 3 of their games. They're going to be going down as one of the 3rd best teams. And it reminds me of that Portugal in 2016 where they drew all their group stage games. So Mali are a dark horse to look out for because the likes of Yves Bissouma, Habib Diarra as well, they've got some good players in there, but they just haven't really turned up this tournament just yet.
The other team who I think people might think have the power to overcome Morocco or Nigeria is Senegal. They play tonight in Group D against Benin. What have they shown so far, Tony?
In their opening game against Botswana, Senegal were very, very good. But however, they drew in their second game. So even though Senegal were the favourites, the one thing I've noticed is that if you ask any Moroccan fan, they say their hearts, they want Moroccan to win, but their heads say Senegal. Everyone is afraid of the Senegal team. Senegal's a team that no one wants to play up. The likes of Nicolas Jackson, Sadio Mane, who we all know from his time at Liverpool, he's not even seen as the key player. Obviously, he helped them win in 2021, but there are so many other players, Iliman Ndiaye as well, Lamine Kamara. There's so many players.
Ismail Assar. They've got some brilliant players.
Honestly, on paper, it's one of the best teams I've seen at an AFCON. But this is the thing about the AFCON. You just never know who's going to win it. The favourites always never seem to win it, so you just never know.
Any sort of Scalacci type? You're too young for that, Tony. For that reference. Any type unknown player sort of lighting up the tournament yet, Tony?
Do you know what? I think El Kaabi is my one. I know he plays for Olympiacos, but I expected Youssef Efneri to start. And I thought Brahim Diaz is having a really, really good tournament. Achraf Hakimi has come back and made it. But El Kaabi is the one where he looks like Morocco's main man, and Youssef Efneri is getting on the bench. The fact that he's got 2 goals and 2 bicycle kicks as well, which is absolutely outrageous. He seems like the talisman for Morocco at the moment, so he's the one. In Nigeria, I would say Ademola Lookman as well. Even though he's not an unknown player, we know what he's been doing for Atalanta. Even though he didn't have the best of times in the Premier League, he's been thriving in Atalanta. He has got 8-9 goal contributions in his last 9 AFCON games, going from this tournament and last tournament. So that's a player to look out for because he's just dangerous when it comes to the AFCON.
Yeah, and given his, how can I put it, complicated relationship with Atalanta, I suspect you might see Ademola back in the Premier League during January. Of course, a lot of that will depend on how deep Nigeria go into the tournament, whether his agent can fix the move up and all the rest of it. Charlie, I'm going to test you here a little bit. No, not in that way. Okay. I think the AFCON is, a hugely important tournament. On the BBC's list of fixtures for today, it's sandwiched between the National League and the National League South. Which I know you take personal interest in. Do you think that's a fair reflection of its status in the world? I think it's... No, I don't. I will say that. No, I don't think it is. I think it should be up there. It's very... It's the Euros. It's on the level with the Euros. It should be front and centre everything. We get this every time, don't we? That this somehow this failure to recognise that this is an incredibly important tournament. If you just look at the percentage of players who are either African-born or of African descent, of course, playing in all the big leagues in Europe. But why wouldn't this be one of the most important tournaments in the cycle? Yeah. I just want to say to Tony, we've had we've been talking about Arsenal, Aston Villa earlier on with Harry Symeou, and he thinks that Arsenal are going to win the league. We just had Susie McCabe on, who's a big Celtic fan, and she said that Celtic are going to win the league. And now we have you on, who's a big Nigeria supporter, and you've just said that Nigeria are going to win AFCON. So I'm not sure that it. I think Tony's frozen. No, there he is. So
I'm still there. I'm feeling like
I'm
enjoying hearing Nigeria say they're going to win the AFCON. So yeah, I'm going to let you say. I'm
feeling like our pundits, Danny, are just being completely biased. Yeah, well, that's what I expect from them. Yeah, if you want unbiased, rational, you come to the wrong radio station. Let's be honest. Tony, it's been a joy again. No doubt I'll keep on nagging you for the latest details from the AFCON. Keep well, keep safe, and if I don't speak to you before then, Happy New Year and thanks for all your work in the last few days.
Happy New Year, guys. Take care.
Yeah, Tony Aoki there, straight off to yet another. Oh, my heart bleeds for him. He's in the wonderful, and I've been there, wonderful country of Morocco, watching football, I presume, for free. and then complaining about he got his head wet one day. Dear God in heaven, you're listening to Hawksby and Jacobs today in the remarkable guise of Baker and Kelly. Kelly and Baker still got another hour to go. We will breast that finishing tape. Like, I was going to say Usain Bolt, but he's out of date now, isn't it? It's Oblique Seville is the fastest man on the planet currently.
Very nice.
And by the way, what a name. Oblique Seville, everyone.
talkSPORT understands Palace have agreed a fee of around £35 million with Tottenham for Brennan Johnson. That would be a club record fee for Palace. Johnson is also on the radar of Bournemouth and Everton, but Palace are seen as the frontrunners. Now, Luke Littler has admitted to losing his head after a hostile crowd at Ali Pali booed him during his win over Rob Cross. The 18-year-old now says he's expecting the worst in his quarter-final on New Year's Day. Elsewhere, Jamie O'Hara has been heaping praise on Man City's proposed move for Bournemouth's Antoine Semenyo.
But I think signing him is a huge statement to the Premier League because it's saying to Liverpool, we can get a player over the line instead of you. He wants to come to us. And I think Arsenal will, they'll look at it and go, good signing that.
We're expecting his move to the Etihad to be confirmed either today or tomorrow. And it will cost City around £60 million plus add-ons. Looking ahead to tonight's football, Arsenal Villa is live and exclusive on talkSPORT.
Aston Villa right now are the best team on form in the league. And I just think this is a game that Arsenal know that they have to win.
Former Gooner Jermaine Pennant there. A win would take Arsenal 5 points clear at the top. Over on talkSPORT 2, we'll have Man United Wolves. Ruben Amorim says his captain Bruno Fernandes is still influencing the squad despite being out injured tonight.
He's the guy that is watching the trainings even after treatment. He's going there. I don't know if he wants my job or not, but he's a leader. The guy is a leader.
You can catch that one live at 8:15 tonight. In the cricket, England have dropped Jamie Smith for the T20 World Cup. Jofra Archer and Josh Tongue have both been picked, though. And Serena Wiegmann has received an honorary damehood in the New Year's Honours list. 5 of her lionesses have also been recognised, but Chloe Kelly and Hannah Hampton are left out, along with Rory McIlroy and Luke Donald. Olympic ice dancing champions Jane Torville and Christopher Dean have been made a dame and a sir, though.
You feel like you want to tell everybody because it's so exciting, but I just told them they had to curtsy when they came in the room.
There's plenty more at talksport.com.
For those of you watching, welcome back incidentally to Kelly and Baker here, sitting in for Hawksby and Jacobs on talkSPORT. I'm Danny Kelly. Charlie Baker is here as well. For those of you watching on YouTube or your smart TV and all the rest of it, that music, the horn section, got both myself and Charlie dancing, which is fine. Chair dancing is good. But I have to say, Charlie, I have restricted myself quite a lot recently because I realised that my chair dancing looks remarkably, and I'm doing it now for you, like what Donald Trump does, and who wants to be associated with that dancing?
He's like he's like one of those people he dances like he's drying himself in the gym.
He does indeed. Listen, you're listening to me, Danny Kelly, and him, Charlie Baker, on talkSPORT in partnership with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead. Whatever the job, next stop is Tool Station. At 3:30, Charlie will be continuing his very, very exciting countdown of the best TV detectives and spies. We're only done 4. We've still got another 9.
Well, did Cagney and Lacey count as 2? I think they count as 2.
Well, that means you've got 14, though. That's not a baker's dozen, is it?
No, I've done 13. I let Cagney and Lacey be singular cops.
Yeah. OK, thank you very much indeed for that. More of that at 3:30, I think. And, of course, we've had great talk about soup as well. But now I think it's time to get a bit more serious because as well as all that championship football last night, there is a decent amount of Premier League football tonight. Over the next 2 nights, everybody will play. So some midweek football is brilliant. And there's a full list this time. Here's Shabana Hearn to tell us exactly what's on talkSPORT Network.
Football doesn't stop for the holidays, and neither do we.
Okay. Did we expect anything less? This is the Premier League.
Join us as you polish off the leftover pigs and blankets as talkSPORT brings you a festive feast of Premier League action.
This is the biggest league, the hardest league in the world, and it shows.
We are the only place on national radio where you can get all 10 Premier League match commentary between the 30th of December and the 1st of January.
Good drop to Getty with a corner!
New year, same drama, wall-to-wall action as it happens.
Ekitike racing through a goal. Oh, what a finish!
Every kick, every goal, every game, all in one place, only on talkSPORT.
And it's rifled in by Buendia! This is the Premier League. This is talkSPORT.
Yeah, now listen, all those games tonight and on Thursday are on the talkSPORT network, talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT app. Let's ignore the top of the table clash between Arsenal and Aston Villa for now because that's the 8:15 kickoff, because we're going to get a Villa view on that a little later. I want to start, Charlie, like a proper rubbernecker, like a disaster ghoul, with the game at the London Stadium where West Ham take on Brighton. Brighton out of form themselves. But if ever a game had must-win written large across its forehead, this is it for West Ham United.
Yep, they are 18th, Danny, and they're 5 points behind Nottingham Forest. And Nottingham Forest, let's remember, had an absolutely dreadful start.
Yep.
And, changed their manager because of that. Whether that was right or wrong, I don't know, but it has turned it around. Sean Dyche has come in and done a brilliant job. Does Nuno does he get it? I mean, he had a pretty decent start. Does he get what West Ham is? The West Ham way, what the West Ham fans want,
But I think I said this to Matt Matt Jarvis when we were talking to him earlier. I don't think it matters whether he gets it or not, because he doesn't necessarily have the tools to do. If he wants to play his normal way, very defensively and then on the break, I'm not sure he has the tools to do that, particularly without a centre forward, because their best breaking player is Jared Bowen, but he is playing centre forward at the moment. Equally, he hasn't found a collection of defenders who are reliable enough, and he's got both the fullbacks are away at the AFCON now as well.
There's been some disappointment in the players they've brought in, the recruitment over a couple of windows, and
absolutely,
and that basically seems to be where the problems have started and carry on going. Is that they haven't bought the right players.
The Premier League keeps on changing. It changes all the time, and the two most obvious things in the last 18 months that have changed. Obviously, you had this business of bombing the ball into the opponent's penalty area or 6-yard box now, either with corners, free kicks, long throws, and indeed booting the ball long. And West Ham haven't dealt with that super well either. But also, it's become, and it's taken over from, I think, the French league, the most physical league in world football now. The running, the power. And it was obvious that West Ham, though fine footballers like James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Souček, didn't have the legs for what was happening around them. They didn't address that in the summer. And now what they've done is thrown in kids to try and make up for that. And they've got youthful energy, but they don't necessarily have the football nous.
And that's Nuno's style anyway, isn't it? That was always sort of how he would win games, was to be physical, was to go long. And if everyone else has started doing it and they're doing it better with better players, then
just look at, just look up the table to Arsenal's 11. Saka is like a little. He's like the mascot. The rest of them are monsters. Gabriel Jesus is in and out of the team at the moment, but they are a huge team. And Brighton are not in the best form either. And so I suppose that West Ham fans will go to the stadium with that trepidation of a must-win game, but also with the hope that they actually can beat Brighton. You mentioned Nottingham Forest, who are above them. They have got good players, and they've got a very experienced Premier League manager. Let's say he's a very good manager, Sean Dyche. And their home game against Everton, while not quite as must win, it is a winnable game for them. And if they do, they will at the very least maintain that gap between themselves and West Ham. They could even put more, I was going to say blue water, but cherry red water between themselves and the Hammers.
I think this is an absolute cracker, actually. And I think you've got two managers here who will really... Everton and David Moyes, they do have the ability, as we saw at the weekend, to just shut games down and to lock it up and for it to be a bore fest just so they can get out there with a point. Whereas I think tonight, David Moyes likes to show Sean Dyche that he's the bigger dog and the better manager, because obviously Sean Dyche was at Everton for a while and kept them up. And Sean Dyche will want to go, I'm better than you, and this is my... And also, Dyche is now at his club. He's at his boyhood club, the club he loves, the city he lives in, with Stone and Wone, on his bench. And he'll want to go, this is the city of Nottingham and we will beat you.
I was laughing at them. I imagine that, they come out to the touchline just before the kick-off. The players are getting their bibs off and doing their little rondos and all that. And they'll go to each other, David and Sean. Oh, hello, Sean, you still at this? Yeah, David, you still at this? Because who would have predicted these managers in this fixture at the start of 2 years ago? But there they are.
But also they know what they're doing. I often have this thing, Danny, I think some managers are guessing and some managers know what they're doing. And I think Dyche and Moyes really know what they're doing. I think this could be an absolute cracker.
What about the game at Turf Moor between Burnley and Newcastle? Burnley... for a team who've got so few points, they show no sign of packing it in. They're really still at it. And Newcastle's form is patchy. I think that's the correct word to use.
It's really patchy away, isn't it? That's when they're very bad away. you've got to feel like they'll get something tonight. If they're not going to get something, I don't know. Is Eddie Howe under pressure, Danny? In your vibes,
he's got.
Do you
an
feel
awful
like I think he's done enough with to have a lot of leeway with the fans. They love him. They understand that they lost 30 goals in the summer. You know, when with Isak going, so. He's been firefighting
he's
with
got
that.
He's got loads of credit,
money in the bank,
in the balance sheet because of that trophy they won, and because of what he's done over the last 5 years. But let's not kid ourselves. This is modern football. The owners watching from 3,000 miles away will be going, "We just spent what? And we're in the bottom half of what?" No. So whether he likes it or not, and whether it's fair or not, he is under pressure. Yeah, they all are. That's the way of it, isn't it?
But Eddie Howe is sensational going, in the Championship he's not been so great at it, but he's got points on the board. He's sensational at going 1-0 up and holding. He's very, very good at that.
And sometimes on this Newcastle thing, and I hate to say this because, as a seasoned broadcaster myself, sometimes people just get fed up with the sound of somebody's voice and people need to change. It might be that you could throw that question, is Eddie Howe under pressure at Newcastle? You could reverse that question into, would he benefit from a change of scenery himself?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because clearly he's a really good manager.
I don't know if he's waiting to get to the summer. I don't know if he's holding to get to the summer, see how Tuchel gets on for England, and then...
Well, I'm not sure that Tuchel will stay no matter how England do, so you're probably right about that. The other fixture that we need to talk about is Manchester United against Wolves. This has now become a kind of game, hasn't it?
Yeah.
When will Wolves get their next point? And I have to be honest, although they played really well at Liverpool, I thought, within the limitations they have, Wolves, I don't suppose they'll be getting it in Manchester today either.
No, and Amorim changing his formation, little Christmas surprise for all the Man United fans was exciting, wasn't it? Finally changing it. It seems to have done them some good.
I love the way he pretended that was the plan all along.
I'm just amazed he's still there. I can't believe he's still there, and he's going to get to the end of the season, isn't he?
Without coming to tactics board and chalk and blackboards, they had to change that system because not because there's anything wrong with three at the back, but you can't play it if you only got two tired players in midfield. It needs must where the devil drives. He doesn't want to play four at the back, but he cannot continue to play two in midfield. Let me stop you there, Charlie, because the darts is really hotting up now today up there at Alexander Palace. Let's get another report from North London. Here's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, could have a big shock on the way here, Danny. Unseeded Swede on debut, Andreas Harrison, is 2 sets apiece with Johnny Clayton. However, he's missed 3 darts to go 3-2 in front. Johnny Clayton's got a shot at tops to go 3-2 and Clayton hits it. So Clayton now goes 3 sets to 2 in front. Harrison will be kicking himself. Missed 3 darts for the set. It's a first to 4 for a place in the quarter-final on New Year's Day. But the ferret, Johnny Clayton, is battling hard. They play to a conclusion on talkSPORT 2, but Clayton leads Harrison by 3 sets to 2.
PDC World Darts Championship update on talkSPORT with Village Hotels. Get rooms from as little as £55 in the Big Village sale. Find out more at villagehotels.com.
OK, so let me just remind you about tonight's Premier League action. There are 4 games kicking off at 7:30. Burnley against Newcastle, Chelsea against Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest against Everton, that huge game in East London between West Ham and Brighton. Then at 8:15 in the evening, Arsenal take on Aston Villa and Manchester United play Wolves. All of those games, all of them, and all the games on Thursday, tomorrow, are on the talkSPORT network, talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, and the talkSPORT app. So you've got no excuse for missing any of them. And later on in the show, we will be previewing that huge game between Arsenal and Aston Villa from a Villa point of view, having already heard from Harry Symeou about what Arsenal fans are expecting. Next up, because that distant sound, if you open the window to your living room, that distant sound is the transfer window creaking open. We're going to have some tittle-tattle for you very, very soon, as well as some hard news, particularly affecting Crystal Palace and Spurs. Transfers next with Ben Jacobs here on talkSPORT.
welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology.
How would you get to that conclusion?
That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Yeah, right. Here on Hawksby and Jacobs, it's time now to look ahead to the January transfer window with Inuit QuickBooks.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Which means, of course, we'll be joined by our transfer correspondent, and I nay Czar, Ben Jacobs. Afternoon, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
Good afternoon. Love all the different nicknames this time of year. Guru, Czar.
Yeah.
Sure. What do you want to give yourself? Transfer window cleaner. That's what I quite like.
Yeah, I think if we speak to the missus, she would prefer cleaner. That's what I need to do around the Christmas period.
You should get a uniform, some kind of admiral's hat and a jacket
good
with
idea.
epaulets on it. Yeah, transfer admiral. I'd like that very much indeed. Ben, of course, everyone's going to talk about Antoine Semenyo, and we will in a minute. But much more concrete, apparently, is the moves around Tottenham wide player and striker, of course, leading goal scorer for Spurs last season, Brennan Johnson. What's the latest?
Yeah, so Brennan Johnson is expected to leave Tottenham during the winter window, paving the way for them to add another left-sided attacker, but probably someone that can also play through the middle. And Crystal Palace have tried to move really fast here, and they've succeeded in reaching an agreement in principle with Tottenham for what I understand to be £33.5 million. And the reason why Palace wanted to be quick is because they realised that there would be other suitors. The problem is that Brennan Johnson hasn't yet said yes. It's not to say he doesn't want the move, but the Wales international is waiting to see who else comes forwards. Bournemouth are obviously one to watch when you consider that Antoine Semenyo is on the verge of joining Manchester City. But I'm also told, as we revealed earlier on talkSPORT, Everton and Sunderland are both considering a move as well. So it looks like Palace want to get a move on, but Brennan Johnson has put the brakes on and he's inviting other offers before making his final decision. But there's enough interest and people prepared to pay the valuation. Tottenham's fee when they signed Johnson was £47.5 million. They're prepared to do a deal for under £35 million. And I do expect some other formal offers in the coming days before Brennan Johnson finally makes his decision as to where he wants to go. And Crystal Palace face a bit of a nervous wait to see whether it's them.
He'll always remain a hero to me, of course, because he apparently put that ball across the line in the Europa League final.
Are you surprised, Danny? I'm very surprised at this. As a Spurs fan, are you surprised at this, Danny?
Yes and no. Yes, because it'll mean that it'll be the third year running that Spurs have let their leading goal scorer from the previous season go within a few months, Kane, Son, Johnson. No, because he doesn't seem as effective on the left-hand side as he is on the right. And Mohamed Kudus has kind of taken that position from him. Spurs have got a lot of very similar wide players. There's a really good player in there. Johnson's a really good player. But if the manager doesn't fancy him, and if Kudus is completely taking his obvious spot in the team, Spurs have been criticised over the years, Charlie, for not selling their players at the right time. And I suspect if they can get 35 million for him, or 33.5, Ben, it's probably the right time. Also, You know, he hasn't played very much, and these young players. It's a waste of talent to. You know, it's not like he's even coming off the bench regularly. He doesn't always get on the pitch. So, yes, I'm surprised, but no, I understand the logic of it, I guess is the question. Wide players who can score goals, all the rage, Ben. What's the latest on Antoine Semenyo? Because we heard earlier on, I think it was Jamie O'Hara saying Manchester City have already got, what they've got, and now they look like they're adding what he described as the best player outside of the top 6 in England.
Yeah, and I think this deal will happen. We revealed yesterday on talkSPORT that the formalisation could come within 48 hours. Manchester City want to move fast so they can avoid any potential surprises, although it's all quiet at the moment on the Liverpool front. The fee is expected to be 65 million via that release clause, but it's actually more like 60 plus add-ons, and then from Bournemouth's point of view, they can classify a solidarity payment, taking the total book valuation for them to £65 million. Bristol City get a cut as well, so it's a great deal for them. And the parties have basically been negotiating two things in the last 24 hours. The first is the payment terms. Some release clauses, they're very rigid, like Mateus Cunha to Manchester United, and you either match the payment structure or you walk away. Whereas in this instance, Bournemouth are prepared to negotiate, and that's kind of what's taken place in the last 24 hours. And we're very close now to an agreement in principle. And yet, from Bournemouth's point of view, a slight delay is a good thing because they've got a busy festive period. And the expectation at the moment, anyway, let's see if it changes throughout the day. But right now, it appears like Semenyo will be in the Bournemouth squad for Chelsea. And then after that game is out the way, finalise his move to Man City, which will pave the way for Oscar Bob to go out on loan somewhere. Dortmund are one of the suitors. Spurs might be tempted to come back in for Savinho. He's one of their left-sided options still if Man City change their mind about selling. And also for Spurs, by the way, Yandi Amande is another player on their radar as well. So I think Man City are going to be busy, not just in terms of Semenyo. They want a midfielder as well, either for January or the summer. And then some outgoings from some of their many wingers are going to be necessary. Otherwise, that squad is going to appear a bit too bloated, assuming, as we expect, Semenyo arrives.
And speaking of Manchester City midfielders, I was surprised this morning, Ben, to see James McAtee, only recently left Manchester City for Nottingham Forest, being linked with Chelsea.
Yeah, it's not necessarily Chelsea, although I can understand why people are making that link, because if you're part of Blueco, there's always a potential pathway to Chelsea. But my understanding is there's quite a clear-cut divide at the moment. Chelsea are happy with what they've got in that position, and Strasbourg are the club that are keen on loaning James McAtee. And of course, were it to just be a straight loan, there wouldn't necessarily be a Chelsea component to it because he'd just go back after that. But if it's a loan with a buy option or an obligation, then you think you go via Blueco, Strasbourg first, and there might be a long-term opportunity to rise up based on how he performs. But I'm told very clearly by sources that if McAtee goes to the Blueco group, it is Strasbourg, not Chelsea for January, and it's one to keep an eye on. And Leeds, of course, are another club taking a very close look at the same player.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very good footballer, but at 23, he needs to be getting more minutes than he's currently getting as well. He's not a child anymore. Ben, it's been a joy, and it's also been educational. Thank you very, very much indeed. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Ben Jacobs there, who will be a whole team of people keeping you, along with Alex Crook, keeping you across everything that happens. And he did say Happy New Year back. He wasn't being impolite there. We just cut him off in his prime. Now, listen, here's something for you. The latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is available, and it's a Christmas special with Matt Ford and the England legend Stuart Pearce. Matt asks Stuart what life is like for a footballer around the festive period, and if certain England players will be extra careful this year with the World Cup just around the corner. He also explained how seriously legendary Forest manager Brian Clough took training over the Christmas period. New episodes will be available every week between now and the summer's tournament in America and can be found on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Luke Littler has given an emphatic response, insisting he's not bothered after being booed during his win over Rob Cross.
Can I just say one thing? You guys pay for tickets and you're paying for my prize money, so thank you. Thank you for my money.
The 18-year-old speaking to our friends at Sky there, well, Jamie O'Hara has given his verdict on Littler's spat with a raucous crowd at Ali Pali.
If you boo him, you're an idiot. He's the greatest thing. We're all watching darts for Luke Littler.
Elsewhere this morning, Serena Wiegmann has been awarded an honorary damehood in the New Year's honours list. Leah Williamson, Alex Greenwood, Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway and Ella Toone were also recognised. But Chloe Kelly was snubbed again. Rory McIlroy and Luke Donald were also left out. Now, Anthony Joshua's promoters Matchroom have confirmed the former heavyweight champion is stable and recovering in hospital following the car crash that killed 2 of his friends. AJ was pulled from the wreckage with minor injuries after the SUV he was travelling in collided with a stationary truck in Nigeria. And Forest have formally complained to the PGMOL for some of the decisions in Saturday's 2-1 defeat to City. But heading into his side's game against Everton tonight, Sean Dyche said he'd prefer not to discuss officiating.
Press refs used to not be noticed. You'd do their job, disappear, and everyone would just talk about the game. Now they're sort of part of it, and I don't know why the powers that be keep thrusting it upon them. Leave them alone and let them get on with their jobs.
You can hear that one live and exclusive on the talkSPORT app.
$26K for 2026 on talkSPORT.
Yeah, talkSPORT is already looking ahead to an exciting 2026, and we're giving you the chance to win a massive £26,000. What better way to kick off 2026 than with some serious cash? Yep, 26 grand. It's our biggest New Year cash giveaway, and it could be yours. It's 26K for 2026. Here's how to enter.
Yes, for your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 423 9761. Lines close 12 p.m, 9th of January 2026. And that's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. UK residents only, 18 plus. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at TalkSPORT Win, talksport.com/win. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 now. Good luck. It's like a test, Danny. It's like a test.
Yeah.
It's like a test. If you can read that, you get to do tomorrow's show as well.
That phone number. Yeah, I know. I've been reading it for about four days now, successively, Charlie. I could probably do it off by heart.
But you can't remember it. Anyway,
no, I can't. No, I can't. Moving right along. It's a great chance to win a load of money there.
Yeah.
Go and see it. We've just been on the WhatsApp group that sort of simultaneously accompanies the show. We've been just saying, how bad would we have to be now over the last 20 or so minutes for this show not to sweep the end of the year awards?
Exactly, burn it down.
But there's no danger. There's no danger at all, because you're going to continue your baker's dozen of your top favourite detectives.
Cops and detectives, cops and detectives.
Cops and detectives off TV. I'm going to shut up now and let you continue.
Inspector Gadget, Danny. I don't know if you hadn't. Do you like Inspector Gadget? It was as a kid we had.
I would consider myself a cartoon aficionado, but he just came in the dark spot between.
Sure.
I was too old for it when it came out, and I haven't retroed it. So my detective with technological advance help is Secret Squirrel.
Oh, right, okay.
He's got a bulletproof coat, a cannon hat, a machine gun cane that goes rat-a-tat-tat.
It's the same vibe. Inspector Gadget had a good tune. Da-da-la-da-la, Inspector Gadget. Da-da-la-da-la-da-da. And then he'd go Gadget arms, and his arms would go, or his legs, And it was good. It was good jokes. Anyway, moving on. George Smiley. Is there a better spy than George Smiley?
No, we keep coming around to the Le Carré, don't we? It's great because where James Bond and others of that nature, everything is action. With George Smiley, everything is inaction. It's absolute stillness at the centre of intrigue and crime and betrayal and backstabbing. And by sitting perfectly still, and that's why it's no coincidence that in the TV series, little chess pieces, he puts the names on the chess pieces because it's chess, not karate. It's very, very wonderful.
Brilliant. And I often wonder if we connect the character to the actor that's playing, because the next one is Inspector Morse, and I love John Thor. I love John Thor and Sweeney. I think he's a brilliant actor. He always brought a sense of humour to his character. I think he sort of knew what he was doing, but he was hard. You believed he was sort of one of those tough dads from school.
Yeah. I mean, Morse is brilliant, but can I perhaps spoke in things here? The prequel Endeavour is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I've not read or seen it, so I need to watch that.
Oh, right, there's a prequel with Sean, what's his name? Is it O'Brien? I can't quite remember now. He's got an Irish name anyway. As the young Morse.
Yeah.
And with Roger Allam as his boss.
Oh, good actor.
And the characters who come back in Morse, like the phrenologist, or the person who looks after dead bodies.
Okay,
yeah, he's in it as well, and so are all the other characters that come up in
so
it. But
you get an
origin
story. Okay,
and it's several series of it, and it is brilliant. Particularly the disappointment of Morse's romantic life, which leads to some of the grumpiness that we see in John Thor.
Great stuff.
It's great.
Moving on, Danny. We've really got to move on now.
Yeah.
Chief Wiggum. I mean, I think you'll be up there with The Simpsons for me. Chief Wiggum. He's a great cop. He's a great cop. I mean, I've never seen him solve one case, but for laughs.
No, he's not interested. He's only interested in what time the donut shop opens.
Have you ever seen the episode where I think Homer flies into... No, it's... the Krusty the Clown flies into the side of a cliff, and Wiggum turns up and goes, "Okay, nothing to see here now." Oh my God, a horrible plane crash!
No,
it's very, very funny.
He is very bad and very good.
Very good. Kojak, who loves you, baby? Kojak, I absolutely love Telly Savalas. I mean, would Kojak has been as popular without Telly Savalas? I don't know if.
I mean, it was that thing when he came out in the late 70s, early 80s, where they had to have a gimmick. Ironside was in a wheelchair, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But they said, OK, let's make him Greek. No, that's not enough. All right, let's make him Greek and bald.
And bald.
I don't know. What about if he sucks a lollipop? Then that's it. There's your detective.
Telly Savalas' music career is. I mean, look, listen to it for laughs, but it's not all that. Here we go, Hill Street Blues, Danny. And particularly, I love Frank Furillo, who was chief inspector, chief guy.
He was in
charge of the whole thing. But
very
what
suave,
a
Frank.
series! What a series! Hill Street Blues.
Be careful out there and all that.
And all that. And another great Mike Post theme tune. Mike Post. This is Mike Post did the A-Team and did I think TJ Hooker, Unknown Stuntman.
Hill Street is the one that allows us to escape from the characters, from the Kojak detectives, into more gritty policing, and we've seen that it goes all the way through to, here's how we're joining up the show, all the way through things like The Wire.
Well, next, Wendell Pierce, William Bunk Moreland in The Wire, of course. What a series.
But, I mean, given the characters in that series, for you to steal it takes some doing, doesn't it?
I know.
And the drunk scenes where he's always drunk and talking about his life, amazing,
phenomenal. We've got 1 minute, and we could have a minute of this song. In fact,
who's the black private dick that's a sex machine to all the chicks?
I mean, we talk about the actor. You're trying to remove the actor from the character. It seems to be the theme tune helps as well.
Well, this is the theme from Shaft.
Yeah, sorry.
It totally changes film music forever. Absolutely. Before that, we were still doing sort of post-Tchaikovsky stuff.
Yeah.
After that, everybody, and Mike Post is a good example, had to have Da Funk after Isaac Hayes wrote this. I like the Shaft remake as well, but only for Jeffrey Wright as the villain, and particularly when he's describing how much he likes golf, and in an amazing, odd Hispanic accent, he goes, Tiger Woo. I love Tiger Woo.
I've not seen it. I must say, I've not seen the remake.
Because Richard Roundtree's in it. Richard Roundtree's in it as himself. Yeah.
Great stuff. There we are.
Very
That's
good.
my 13, Danny.
Oh, and I think you could have done another 13 without breaking stride.
Once you get into it, you go, this is absolutely what you grow up on. I mean, if you're a certain type of person, it's just what you love, isn't it? So it's,
absolutely. I won't go into it now because we haven't got enough time, but last night I watched a detective series in which the two main suspects were detectives from other series. It was just brilliant.
That's great.
Cross-pollination.
The only other thing is if you do talk to any people who are actually detectives, they go, it's really boring, actually. It's really... it's really boring work.
Take no notice of them.
It's a lot of just sitting and going through lots and lots of files.
Well,
all
no,
the time.
it's all looking at CCTV and Ring doorbell footage now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're listening to Danny Kelly and Charlie Baker on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Toolstation.
Hello and welcome to talkSPORT Goals. We're taking you through what should be another busy day of football.
Chance to win it!
We don't need to do that, guys.
I'm going to owe you an apology. How would you get to that conclusion? That's a weak mentality.
Oh, get out of it.
Yeah, well, we started the show talking about, well, the big Premier League games live here on talkSPORT, of course, in North London. We started between Arsenal and Aston Villa, impregnable Aston Villa, it looks like. We are going to end the show by we've already had the Arsenal view on it. Let's get an Aston Villa view. You see him on the television all the time. Top broadcaster and Villa fan Dan Bardell joins us now. Hello, Dan.
Hello, lad. You okay?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Of course, with that accent, you're going to support one of two football teams. Aston Villa, title contenders. Today, the road really meets the rubber, Dan.
Yeah, luckily my dad loved me, so I'm supporting the right team in Birmingham as well. Huge game. Obviously, we're off the back of a huge game away at Chelsea, where we've done the business as well. The Christmas period, the Christmas fixture computer wasn't particularly kind to us, but 6 points from the Christmas game so far, and I wouldn't bet against us making it 9 tonight, just because we do just seem to be on one hell of a run. But even with injuries, and we've got our own players missing as well, it's going to be a real tough game against Arsenal. Obviously, they're top of the league for a reason. They're a fantastic side. They're very good at home. A couple of their big players are back, like the likes of Gabriel. So it will be tough. But we've got a decent record there over the last few seasons. Emery's kind of got a little bit of a hex over Arsenal. So it'll be a great game, and just hopefully we fall the right side of it.
We'll come back to the game in a second, Dan, but whatever the result tonight, I know you won't want to hear me say that, whatever the result tonight, the run Aston Villa have been on, particularly this thing of coming back from losing positions away from home, has been astonishing. Teams just don't do that regularly.
Yeah, you're right, and if we lose tonight, it doesn't undo everything that's happened in the kind of last couple of months. That the run that we have been on, the way in which we've won games, we've always been brilliant at home under Emery. Our home record for the last 3 years must be up there towards the top of everyone in the Premier League, because we're just so good at Villa Park, and it really is a fortress. But seeing what we've done away from home, we almost click into gear when we go 1-0 down. And when he made those 3 subs last night, just everything not a couple of nights ago, just everything that Emery seems to do at the moment just seems to turn to gold. He's made game-changing substitutions kind of all the way through this run, and he may need to turn to the bench again tonight, and there's probably not going to be as many options as he would like on there due to suspensions and injuries, but he's just got the Midas touch at the moment. And this isn't the only good run we've had under Unai Emery. I think since he's been at the club, I think we're 4th overall in terms of points accumulated in the Premier League. I still don't think he gets the credit he deserves. I think pound for pound, he's probably the best manager in the Premier League right now, with what he's getting out of this side and the way we are actually genuinely in the title race at the moment. So whatever happens tonight, it almost doesn't matter, because it's a tough place to go, and if we get beat, we get beat. I'm pretty confident we'd then go and win the next game, because we're a fantastic side.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it's even more impressive that he's done it. He didn't really spend anything in the summer, do you? You thought you had a really light transfer window last time round. It might be a bit lighter tonight, as you say, without Matty Cash in the side. He might not have the bench that he needs, but he seems to be able to coach these players to the top of their ability. And Ollie Watkins at the moment, I think he's probably fighting Dominic Calvert-Lewin for a spot at the moment, but Ollie Watkins looks like he's unstoppable after that little breakdown.
Yeah, he looked sharp when he came on the other night. They're having to manage his minutes because he's carrying this injury that he's been carrying for about 12 months.
It's his birthday. He's 30 years old. He's an old man.
Yeah, scores on his birthday as well. I think he scored on his birthday this time last year against Brighton, and he's got a brilliant record. I think he's got 4 in 5 away against Arsenal in the Premier League. So he's got a good record. He's got a good record against Brighton. He scored 2 against them. Chelsea's a happy hunting ground for him. So he does have these places that he tends to go and cause trouble and score goals. And there's no doubt he'll play tonight after what he did coming off the bench against Chelsea. But the summer was, Villa fans were underwhelmed with it. We understand the situation because there's nothing the club can really do about the rules. And the transfer window was a hard time for the club. But what they've done since the transfer window shut, they've managed to click back into gear and just go on this incredible run. And even like someone like Victor Lindelof, who's probably 4th choice centre-back, he's come in and having to play at left centre-back because Mings and Torres are injured. But Emery just gets the best out of these players. Looks like he knows the job he's got to do. He's adapted his game and he looks a good player under Emery, and that's what Emery does. He coaches players really well. And, it's largely the same squad that he inherited. Some of Villa's best players were there when he walked through the door 3 years ago. So there's a lot to like about what we're doing at the moment, but we probably do need a couple of reinforcements in January if we're to keep this up.
Sure, and if people, because of what I do for a living, Dan, they ask me how are Aston Villa doing this, and I don't pretend to have any scientific answer. I said what I say is, now I hope you'll back me up on this. Appoint a good manager. Push your financial fair play to the edges of what you can afford in transfers and wages. Try and make sure that the players you bring in improve the first 11 so that the others drop down to form a strong bench, and let the manager get on with it. It's not rocket science, but it's a brilliant formula.
Yeah, I mean, Villa have almost done the opposite in terms of transfers, really. The players that come in never tend to get in the team. We've made a couple of brilliant signings over the years, don't get me wrong, and Tielemans on a free, Kamara on a free, which predated Emery coming in. Recruitment has been good, but over the last couple of seasons, really, it's still the players that were already there who are the crucial players. But the big thing is that Emery essentially runs the football club, and one day, hopefully a long time in the future, he might leave and it might all fall down. But whilst you've got a manager of that calibre, let him do what he wants to do. Let him run the football department, let him run the football side. And we're quite unique in that way. Like, clubs work in different ways, and I guess there's no exact science to it, and different kind of ways of working suit different clubs. But what we've done under Unai Emery over the last 3 years, okay, we haven't won a trophy, but he got us into Europe as soon as he arrived, when we were 17th when he took over. We then finished 4th and got in the Champions League. Narrowly missed out on it last season, finished 6th, and we're 3rd at the moment. We win football matches under this manager because he runs the football club, essentially.
I mean, I'm seasoned enough, if I might use that. I remember distinctly Aston Villa win the title the last time they won it. We were using 14 players in the entire season. That's true. I can hear the squeals from Suffolk, from Ipswich fans. We beat them twice in the league and in the FA Cup. Well, they won the title. That's just the way it rolls. I hate the way people like you, Dan, are questioned in the media. Do you think Aston Villa can win it? Because what they want you to do is say, yes, we think we can, so that they can come back 6 weeks later and say, ha-ha, they lost 2 games and now you look like a fool. I take the opposite view. Football is nothing if fans can't dream, and I think people like you should be dreaming about Villa somehow winning this title.
Yeah, look, over the last couple of weeks, I've probably allowed myself to think about it a little bit more than I usually would do. And we're up there for a reason. And this isn't a flash in the pan. We've been very consistent for 3 seasons, like I just said. It will be very difficult for Villa to win the league ahead of Arsenal, ahead of Manchester City. Just to be up there with them is absolutely fantastic and keeping the pace. And if I'm being honest, of course, I'd love Villa to win the league, but I'm more looking, when we beat Chelsea the other night, I'm looking at, there's a 10-point gap between us and them now, and that should hopefully see us home to guarantee Champions League if we keep this up for a few more weeks. But who's to say that we can't? I'm not going to get tripped up into. I've already seen a Villa fan get tripped up into saying something silly on air this morning, and I'm not going to do that. But you've got to start thinking about it, because it's nearly 2026.
Otherwise, why are you following the team? Of course, that's right. I mean, it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous the way people's dreams are apparently only there to be popped now with some kind of pin. It's nonsense. Dan, it's been a joy. Thank you very much. And also, cheers, I love the fact he's very on brand. He's wearing his Villa training top there to do an interview. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much.
Nice Christmas present that looks like to me, Danny.
Thank you very much to Dan Bardell. And thank you, Charlie, for the last 3 hours. I've really, really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. Contrary to what the producer was saying, you know what, Subgrid, we haven't ruined the show. It is another award winner safely tucked away in the belt. I'll be back to you in the new year, so on Trans-Europe Express on Sunday. So let me wish all of you a happy Hogmanay or New Year, whatever it is you're celebrating. Thank you again to Charlie and everybody behind the glass who helped make the show work. Next up here is Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent on Drive. God bless you all. Good afternoon.